But live, we live. Sorry about that, man. We had a couple of technical difficulties, and now you see God Gray next to me, so we've been working out some things, glitches. I guess it's so hot in the summer coming up with the Heat being in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? That they like, hey, everything's it's too hot down here. We're gonna have all sorts of malfunctions and shit. You heard? But anyways, though, I shouldn't have said that. That's excuse my French. But it's we live inside Music Media Lounge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. 3 minutes, right? We live inside musicmedialounge.com. You know what I'm saying? It's the studio we ain't live in. That's where we broadcasting from. We saw, Sunrise, Fort Lauderdale. I got to give a shout out to Miami, Broward County, West Palm Beaches here. We in the conference finals. We up 2. And tonight, it might be up 3. You heard me? I'm letting y'all know I'm talking my shit. I'm telling y'all, a lot of people talk shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got my, I'm going to have my Haitian hat. I'm going to have my Haitian hat. You hear me? We ain't there. We ain't never been no bandwagoner though. I'll be the first one to talk shit about your peoples. You know what I'm saying? Cause we from here. You feel me? Ain't nobody thought we was gonna make it this far. So Jimmy, Hemi, and the Butler is doing this thing. You feel me? Mm-mm-mm. Also though, shout out to you, God. You know what I mean? Happy Earth Strong, man. Yeah, man. Happy Earth Strong, man. Yeah, shout out to all my Tauruses. You know what I'm saying? Just because he in it, I'm gonna give a shout out to all y'all. You're to let you know, because on him, I'll give a shout out to everybody. You feel me? That's a Taurus. That's because of his reason. Now, if you a fuck nigga, we'll see. I did it again. But if you was okay, we good. If you ain't, you know what I mean by that. You know what I'm saying? If I don't fuck with you, it's cool. Taurus, I ain't including you. I'm talking about all the good people out there that's Tauruses. I ain't talking about y'all other ones I don't mess with. But either way, though, still shout out to y'all. And obviously, shout out to Malcolm X, man. You know what I mean? On Clubhouse the other day, we had a great room set up. You know what I'm saying? And it was a good room dealing with Malcolm X was right. You know what I'm saying? You got to tap in with us on that. You know what I mean? Topic on another time. But his Earth Strong was on Friday, so shout out to Malcolm. You know what I mean? Shout out to Malcolm. We can't, and we already kind of covered him. You know what I mean? We've been covering Malcolm for a minute. From the indigenous standpoint, from his political standpoint, we don't really get caught up in the religion. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if it comes up, it comes up. You know what I mean? You can get this work. But we live though. We live. See, when we live in the studio again, music Malcolm X, give him a shout out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give him a shout out. We want to make sure everybody also understand though. I gotta give a good shout out because it's on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to them Zoes. You heard me? Shout out to my Zoes. You heard me? You already know what it is. You feel me? I know y'all turned up the whole weekend. They've been talking shit about y'all the whole weekend because y'all know y'all in the streets. All my Negr0s. You heard me? Yeah. All my Frenchies. I ain't gonna even keep them out of they part of the context. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my black Jacobites out of Haiti too. You know what I'm saying about? Yeah, black Jacobites are Frenchies. You know what I'm saying? And Zoes and Negr0s. I'm giving shout out to all y'all this weekend. Actually, I got some pictures from one of my Zoes. I've known since like high school, easy. And he sent me some pictures a couple weeks ago. Like, man, I was researching some shit and I found these pictures and I wanted to make sure I sent them to you. He sent it to me. I was like, damn, Matter of fact, hold on, let me see if I can pull up one of them or two. I ain't gonna show you them all because we're supposed to do a whole build on this. It would have been perfect for this weekend, but timing wise, everything don't happen that way. So I'm gonna keep it real about that too. But my man Av, shout out my man Av, man, who sent me these joints. I'm gonna try to find them real quick, see if I can put one or two of these joints in the shout out to my Zoes. Matter of fact, look at that. Shout out that. Look at that. He sent me that one right there. Look at that. Hold up. Look at that. He sent me that one too. Oh, look at that. This is all in the 1960s. I'm gonna stop. Let me stop. So shout out to my Zoes though. You feel me? Because I got some pictures straight from the, in 1960s. You feel me? They dressed like Ed Carnival. It's Carnival weekend for the Zoes, right? So when you look at the garb they were rocking, man, they look like they were rocking straight some indigenous shit. You heard me? Shout out. I gotta also give a shout out to the Tainos. You know what I mean? I gotta give a shout out to the Inca. I gotta give a shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that's in part of that cosmetology, like ice cream. You know what I mean? How many flavors do we need to lick from? Pause. You know what I meant though. It's a lot of people things popping in these different areas of their mixtures of people. Oh, check this out though, real quick. Can you give me that indigenous American joint real quick? I want to give them their shout out before we get crazy in here. I want to make sure everybody understands. We have some technical. I got work for y'all, right? You know what I mean? It's Hemi right now. I'm in Hemi mood right now. Feel me? I'm in Hemi mood. You know what time it is? It's game 3. We about to close these boys out. Get the broom. Ooh. So yeah, outside of that though, shout out my man Nine Ether. Shout out my man Monte last week. Shout out to everybody in the social club. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Party. And yeah, let me get that. We on the Zoes first. We're gonna go Zoes first. You know what I'm saying? And after that, I'm gonna give you the joints. I'm gonna walk them down. I know we're running behind this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it like that. Go from this one to this one right here. From that one to this one. So yeah. So I want everybody to understand we got some shit for y'all. I got a surprise. Surprise is surprise. El Negro Part 2. You know what I'm saying? That's what we doing. It's live, you know what I mean? And we actually are working, just to give you a quick, as we doing this, we're working to get a little more organized with our production and make sure we can give you this information because we've come across so much of it that even though we do these live shows and we like to interact with people, you know what I mean, and be having conversations live on these topics to be figured are important and important, you know what I'm saying, to what we need to understand what's going on in present day time, that I feel like I still should need to get straight to some things while we here though. You know what I mean? But we working on some stuff to get you right. Shout out to Lee Cummins. We got some shit. I don't know what's gonna happen at the end of this month because that's next week's the end. And we're still working out logistics on things. But in the summer, we have a whole new series popping up for y'all dealing with Lee Cummins, dealing with the Negro. That's why we're doing with the El Negro and shout out down Nine Ether because we're gonna walk you up as we've been doing with the El Negro series into the time frame of the 13 colonies, which the series of books that you can get from Lee Cummins, the Negro Questions series, to kind of walk you into the Revolutionary War, right? That's what we're doing. We're going to walk you from, as we've been doing, from the term Negro getting into America and walk you into the colonies, and then from the colonies to the Revolutionary War time period, you know what I mean? And all things and aspects dealing with the people being designated or called a Negro in America, because that could be confusing. You know what I mean? But the leading group of them, as we talked about last night, I said last night, I'm tripping. Last Sunday, be thinking like that. We talk about this shit all the time, right? I be thinking like we talk about this shit all the time. So I'm like, it's a continuous conversation, right? So I be getting confused between Clubhouse here sometimes myself. You know what I mean? But live on this joint, last Sunday we did talk about what Monte, the dude, what's his name? Equano. Can we get his name too? I need you to pull him up first. I'm gonna need his name though for the night. I mean, I'm gonna need you to pull him up. But let's give him the sons of not the sons yet, but give me the indigenous army. Shout out to my to get them right. You know what I mean? Now I don't always like to use Wikipedia, right? So I'm gonna let them see that this Wikipedia saying this shit. So scroll down a little bit. Let them see that this is Wikipedia that's dealing with this particular thing. You know what I mean? We ain't capping. You know what I mean? But you know what you would think indigenous army, that's French, that we would be able to get to. What up? Shout out to Baron Peters walked in the building. You know what I'm saying? We would be able to get to uh, the understanding of who was involved with the revolution, right? Pete, gang, you see that word of Frenchies in there, right? See, I told you I had to give a shout out to the Zoes, you know what I mean? But I had to say the word of Frenchie. They're there. You see me? Let's read a little bit for them. This is their weekend, you know what I mean? It's our weekend, so I got to give you a little something. It's all gonna tie into where we're going with this today. To watch this, voila! It's like magic. The Indigenous Army. It says French Army Indigene, also known as the Army of Saint Domingue. French Army de Saint Domingue or Lem Indigene. And I know I ain't said that right. P. If it's spelled in Haitian Creole, if it's spelled ENDE, hold on, ENDIGEN. What's that? How you pronounce that? Jen. Yeah, yeah. LAME actually, and then it says ENDIGEN in Haitian Creole. Indigent. That's how you pronounce it. All right, boom. So that's why you gotta have translators around. You feel me? In the modern day time, I need the Mazos, my Jamaicans, all my niggas around because I'm reading all sorts of shit. I don't know all them shits like that. Right, word, straight up. So indigent, you know what I'm saying? It says in Haitian Creole was the name bestowed to the coalition of the anti-slavery men and women who fought in the Haitian Revolution, encompassing both black slaves, maroons. You know what it is? Neg maroon. They say neg maroon, maroon, and then it says and the Frenchies, black and mulatto. You know what that word mulatto means, right? Mixed people freedmen alike. That's why that word a Frenchie. Click on the word of Frenchie. Let them get their Frenchie word. We're gonna come back to this right here. Let them get that word. See, because I'm even talking about their Frenchie. Yeah, there you go. Is a former French legal term denoting a freedman or emancipated slave, but was a term used to refer to pejoratively to mulatto. That's a mixed race, like Mazambos. Shout out to Mazambos out there. In Haitian Haitian culture, we know they use terms like zombies and shit, right? You know what I mean? But I like to say Zambo. You feel me? I think they're trying to spook us out. You feel me? Indigene. Right. Indigene. I know I ain't saying it right. I know I ain't saying it right. I know I wasn't saying it right. So word. So given that, click on it one more time so they can see what it say about that word a Frenchie. All right, and then it goes, it is used, pay attention, it is used in the English language to describe the social class of freedmen. So in America, though, right, a Frenchie will be a freedman here, right? A free person that was emancipated prior to 1865, right? Because obviously 1803, the revolution that took place in Haiti was obviously 62 years prior to proclamation of emancipation. Just to make sure that's clear. You feel me? So now you can let it down, dog. So it says the rebels were not officially titled the Army Indigene until 1803, under the leadership of then General Jean Jacques. How you say his last name? I always mess up his last name. Dessalines. Dessalines. I always mess up his name. I probably butcher that man's name. I apologize to his ancestors. I ain't doing it on purpose. This is predated by insurrections such as Franco's Mackendal, Vincent OG. OG. You heard me? And then it says Dutty Bookman. You heard me? And then in Toussaint Lavert. Now, Toussaint, I know I messed up his name. How you say his name? I'm messing up all these names. Look, don't mind me. Gerald Lavert. You know what I'm saying? Gerald, my dog, though, by the way. Toussaint Louverture. Did I say it better? Say it again. Toussaint Louverture. Boy, I'm saying y'all be saying that shit good. How y'all be? That's what in American culture. In American culture, nigga, you speaking proper. I don't ever hear you talk like that around us in your life. No, I'm talking shit. But no, shout out to my Maroons from the island we call Haiti, Hispaniola, Saint Domingue. You know what I'm saying? And what they did, because they are tied to the, being the first, to free themselves as a republic, on the Western Hemisphere. That is a fact. Now, what needs to be understood, though, because see this word indigenous army. Hold on now, Pete. Check this out, right? Your people from there. Yeah. Why is it they're going to use this term for the indigenous army if the people supposed to be Africans or foreigners? Because the word indigenous means they're from there. Last time I checked in 1803. You know what I'm saying? So there's a reason why, and this is Wikipedia. I ain't telling everybody to go along with Wikipedia, but guess what I've done? I've gone to y'all document, and y'all document on the Declaration of Independence literally has this in it. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a shout out real quick. They have it in it. You know what I'm saying? This like terms like indigeny and you know what I mean? Because Toussaint, click on Toussaint so everybody can see. Now Toussaint, I was going over this the other day, right? Because there's a book by C.L.R. James, the author. You know what I mean? He has a book called The Black Jacobites or Black Jacobians. You know what I'm saying? And that book is literally the same person, the Toussaint. How you say his last name again? Louverture. Like he's considered a Black Jacobian based off of C.L.R. James' book, right? He's calling the leader of the Haitian Revolution a Black Jacobite. You know what I'm saying? Not even an African. He's not saying he's an African, right? He's not saying he's an indigenous person. He's actually calling Toussaint, the French man, a Jacobite. You feel me? That means he's from Europe, by the way. You know what I mean? It means these people came out of the areas of Europe. You know what I mean? Technically speaking, dealing with the Jacobite gleanings and rebellions and stuff, right? That's tied to Stuart and the King James and them, by the way, for historical record, right? Now we're gonna go back to. I just want to make sure you know everybody we talking about. Just give my big up shout out to the Zoes. You feel me? And then it says, the then now fledgling fighting force utilized the manpower advantage and strategic capacity to overwhelm French troops, issuing the Haitian Revolution was the most successful of its kind. You know what I mean? Now, again, we will come down here, etymology. Can you scoot up a little bit? Check out their little crest they set up and everything. You know what I mean? The sinus, right? You see, that's his coat of arms, right? That's not a prior coat of arms. You see the coat of arms? The coat of arms is something that he set up, right? Because it is something prior to him, if you go research this. You know what I mean? He's setting up a coat of arms now that they got a republic set up. You feel me? That's some European shit he getting that from, by the way. That's not an African thing. But anyways, despite his name, the moniker had no relation to the indigenous population of Hispaniola. See, they're going to tell you that. As the native Taino people no longer existed, it says, that's cap though. Yeah, that's completely cap. And it says discernible number at the advent of the Haitian Revolution. As is rather the word indigene was used in the French as a euphemism for non-white. So anybody that's non-white, you're gonna be indigenous, not African, right? You feel me? You see how they play the game? You know what I'm saying? The Taino people ain't here no more. But us indigenous people though, you know what I'm saying? Who ain't white, we here. You feel me? And we ain't playing with y'all. So that's interesting to me at the same time too. You feel me? Because this is in the documents. And literally they talk about the Inca army, the Incans. They bring up the Incas. The Incas are tied to this 1803 time frame. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I say it to y'all. If anybody want to go do the research on it, we just giving a quick, shout out, you know what I mean, to the OGs out there that did this and was involved with this. You know what I mean? Funny enough, active. Look what it says, active 1791. That damn date, 1791, boy. There's so much stuff going on in the 1790s in the Americas. The more and more I research that time frame now, it's blowing me away. You know what I mean? With all the things connected to that year. You know what I'm saying? Just that year. That year is so much history, man, that's going on in 1790, 91. After, the American Revolutionary time frame. It's like it took like 15 years for them to settle in. You feel me? And then shit just start popping off. Lord knows. So, everybody was trying to get their shit free after they broke away from the British. You feel me? And the French were goddamn, weak as hell anyways. But the French were goddamn desperate as hell. They kept coming. You know what I'm saying? Some Maroons had to kick them out too.
They were strong, but they were just spread out.
They were spread out. French was strong, but they didn't have the numbers in one place to be able to govern these people the way they wanted to. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us though, see, there's a lot of us indigenous, Maroon, or Frenchy, or we call freedmen. You know what I'm saying? At that time, that's living in these areas, that let you know why you couldn't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. Gin de color libre. You feel me? Too many Gin de color libre. In English, that means free people of color that were being on some liberation shit. You hear me? That's what they were about. Free people of color were like, nigga, you ain't playing with us. We know what's going on. This is in 1790. Look at that coat of arms one more time, though. Shout out to my Zoes. In this one more time, coming down, and I always mess up the game's name. Dessalines? Dessalines? Dessalines, right. Dessalines utilized the term to separate themselves from the French philosophy and slave-based economy and to galvanize, excuse me. Can you move up a little bit? The Affranchy. You know what I'm saying? I want to look at these words. The Affranchy, to galvanize the Affranchy, the Bosal, and the Creoles around one common goal: the independence of Haiti, which is an indigenous name, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, a president to the term indigene was the Silent's first army known as the Army Des. You see that right there? Incas, right? And you see they're pointing out to an empire of people, right? Because when Nine come on here and he talk about the Order of Santiago that's tied to them El Negros, they went to Hispaniola. Columbus with the Hispaniola, right? Historical wise, right? Haiti, boy, y'all got some rich history. And the first man they say discovered America in 1492 came to that exact island. You know what I mean? With some El Negros. You know what I'm saying? For the record. So it's crazy. It's this infinality of the term happened on January 1st, 1804, when the Silence restored the native name of the island from Saint Domingue to Haiti, or Haiti. By the way, the flag, even though I know the Zoes don't beat me up when y'all see me now, you feel me? I got love for y'all. But y'all rocking the red, white, and blue joint. Why ain't y'all rocking the red and black joint? You feel me? That's what I want. Sometimes I ask the question.
That's associated with a dark past.
That's what it is. Okay, so it's associated with something that y'all might not want to really. Why not? What not the red and black hard though?
Some people still ride the black one, but you know,
I seen it.
they're associated with the dictatorship of Papa Duck.
Oh, Papa Duck and all that. We go, man. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, they rocking that because of France though.
France though. What the new one? That's what's red, white, and blue. It's tied to, still tied to French though. Still, that's what's so crazy about it.
Was red, white, and blue, and they ripped out the white for the whites, and just united the red and the blue.
I'm cool with the red and the black part though. I ain't gonna lie, some shit I heard about that red and black shit. That shit fresh. Them Incas, because them Incas are tied to that flag. You feel me? That's what I feel like. The Incas, the indigenous army, they tied to that red and black.
People still rock that shit though.
It's a lot of history tied to the Inca. Look at the Inca. They're right there at what we call Hispaniola. They're right there. If you didn't think the Inca was in Haiti, you were tripping. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard that the man, the last emperor, that's where he ran to, Hispaniola. You know what I mean? And that's where they captured him at. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do some research. I ain't got time to do all that detail right now. I'm telling you something I read before, though. I'm telling you, you can quote me and catch me if I'm wrong type shit. You know what I mean? But either way, though, shout out to my Zoes, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to my Zoes. They even came to Savannah and was involved with that. The Zoes were involved with a lot of things, man. The Zoes, they went to Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Some Zoes involved with Chicago. You know what I mean? Everywhere, man. So let me put this out there though. Give me the sons of Haiti. Yeah, what y'all doing up there? I be wondering, like, what y'all doing up there? Give me the sons of Haiti real quick though, because I gotta give them to us because we got when 9 come on. I want to get straight to the El Negro part. So much information in that, and we gonna get into details. Since we getting straight to it these days and time. And we shout out everybody that's tapped in with us. He in the back, cool. Let me get this Sons of Haiti. We're going to pull them up. Let me get the Sons of Haiti part real quick. You know what I mean? Because the Zoe part is really something I want to give y'all. Because, it's that weekend. I would have gave y'all Malcolm X too. But, y'all know about Malcolm X. I told you Malcolm X was right, in my opinion. It's my opinion, though. About being Aboriginal to the land. Like how them Haitians were saying, we indigenous to the land. You know what I mean? I'm agreeing on that concept of what we're talking about from a liberty standpoint. You feel me? But at the same time, those sons of Haiti, right? Sound like the sons of Africa, don't it? Kind of interesting, right? On the flyer, it says sons of Africa, right? But then you got the sons of Haiti. Okay, so the sons of Haiti. You see what it says? It's a Haitian American Masonic what? Grand Lodge. It said Lodge, right? I want to make sure y'all see it there. So you see where the sons of Haiti, like how you have the sons of Africa, right? So I'm not tripping. You feel me? Heavy. The Masonic Lodge is heavy. They're Frenchy. I'm going to say it like this. They're Frenchy or heavy in the Masonic. Those black Frenchmen that was in Haiti, the buffers class between the Negr0 and indigenous people that didn't want to be involved with the society or colonial system, were the people that were the buffer class of Haiti. They're literally tied to this Frenchy and these sons of Haiti theology. That also Haiti, why today, is tied to being called Africans in their leading point of their origin story. When you have many mixtures on the island, which you could prove, we just read them. We just read about the Tainos. We read about, you know what I mean? But get mulattoes, all sorts of mixtures. But we're leading with Africa because the sons of Haiti got something connected to the sons of Africa, which is this lodge. You heard it? You remember I said it to you first. That's why the Zoes to me, as Zoes and Haitians, a little bit different, right? I think Zoes are like Maroons to me. You know what I mean? They ain't really listen to the system like that. They doing their own thing. Shout out to y'all. But shows you the organization where they went. Look where they at. Sub chapters. You see the chapters in the States? The Sons of Haiti is there. Am I tripping? I ain't tripping, right? It's not a delusion on what I'm looking at. I'm making sure I ain't tripping. Scroll down a little bit. Give them the history. Click on that before we pull 9 up. You know what I'm saying? You see that King James ran lodge, right? What Haitians doing dealing with King James, right? Well, Toussaint, right? How you say his name again? Yeah, he's a black Jacobite, so it makes sense that he would be, you know what I mean, connected to the lodge, right? Or them people. But they don't believe me. Yeah, you see that? You see it? Peak game. I want y'all to peak game. You see what's going on? There's some shit happening. No one telling you about. Shout out to my Zoes, but this had to be brought out because the Sons of Africa. It all ties in. Trust me. It's just the African American Freemasonry originated in the early 19th century, at a time when it was extremely rare for African Americans to be admitted into the mainstream, predominantly white. It says Masonic lodges in the United States, the state of affairs that only began to change in the late 20th century. African American Freemasonry has been somewhat chaotic, prone to disharmony and schisms. Today, it is common for multiple rival African American Grand Lodges to exist in the same state, each declaring the others illegitimate and irregular. The Sons of Haiti were formally founded in 1962, after a preceding period when the organization was involved with lawsuits against other African American organizations in Washington. Following its founding, the organization was recognized by the Grand Lodges of Haiti, the Grand Lodge of De France, and the Mexican Grand Lodge. You see, the Mexican got a Grand Lodge too. You know what I mean? Everybody got a lodge by this point. Pick their prefix. You got it way. If they got a prefix in front of the word American, there's a lodge to go with it. Put it like that. Indians ain't just the only ones, the Red Lodge and all them. There's all these red men. I mean the red men. I mean, they got a lodge too. You feel me? So at the same time, we ain't being biased. You know what I mean? But what we're getting ready to talk about is that in Washington, it says following its founding, the organization was recognized by the Grand Lodge of Haiti, the Grand Lodge of De France. I read that part. I'm sorry. Prince Hall's Freemasonry, and this is Felix Society described, and I know I ain't pronounced that right either. Phi Lexis. That's Phi and Lexis. That's how I look at it. If you see it, keep it. The Sons of Haiti as bogus for not having descended from African Lodge 459. You see that? You know who the 459 Lodge is, right? That's African Lodge number one. That's tied to Prince Hall, who came out of Barbados, dealing with Boston and shit. You hear me? So that's my surprise, really. You feel me? Because I don't think I've heard. Have you ever heard of the Sons of Haiti before? In your life, you Haitian. You know what I'm talking about? If people come from there. Have you ever heard of the Sons of Haiti before? Because I ain't never think of when someone would say to me, if it was in a past conversation in my life, and someone would say to me, Mac, man, you're part of the Sons of Africa. You feel me? And being that I've been designated as an African American in their system, right? I would not think that they're talking about an institution. I would think they're talking about my heritage and being a son, like I'm the son of man. You know what I mean? Like the religious term, son of man. You feel me? But in this sense, you're telling me I'm the son of Africa. But in this sense, you're saying you're a son of Haiti. You feel me? But it's tied to a lodge. You see that, right? Is that a coincidence? I want to make sure that's there. Shout out to my Zoes, though, because these Zoes and Haitians, y'all both the same, just like Maroons and Jamaicans. Y'all both the same, but y'all got different purposes and agendas based off of acknowledging certain things in your lineage. Because, some people rather go with their class system rather than their bloodlines. That's been going on since colonial society came to the Americas in the 15th century. Yeah, you're being pushed to say, I'm going to go with this side. Forget everything else that I know what's in me. Nigga, this is what's popping. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that right there needs to be understood. Look what they say. The building was sold in 2009. You know what I mean? 1.5 million. There's a lot of stuff tied to the, if you want to go research the Sons of Haiti and what they got going on in America. If you didn't know, now you know. Shout out to my Zoes. And if your Zoes didn't know about this, I don't think a lot of them do know. You feel me, God? They don't know about the Indigenous Army. Most of them, when I ask them. And they don't know about the Sons of Haiti. That's just like how most of African Americans don't know about the Sons of Africa and don't really know the real history behind the African Lodge 459.
Most of our historical books come from France.
That part. Oh, that word of Frenchy, when I did the rabbit hole on that word of Frenchy, and it showed me how legally is a term that denotes a freedman, and I understood completely at that point. Feel me, God? Because the black codes are tied to the French. In the origin story, when any black American in America says, oh, we went through black codes and we went through Jim Crow and all that, well, the origin of that shit's tied to the French. Feel me? The 13 colonies borrowed from the King Louis. You know what I'm saying? 1685. The black codes, which the Frenchies didn't like, by the way. Because a lot of them Frenchies had Jewish lineage in them. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? And they're telling them now, if you're going to be in these French territories, you're going to have to be a Catholic. You feel me? We don't even fuck with the Protestants, by the way. That's what the The Noir codes was telling them folk. Besides you being stipulated and taxed a certain way and treated a certain way, even as the Frenchy class, which is the free people of color. Gente de color libre. We can keep it moving though. Pull up 9, man, because I want him to be here for the rest of this part of this. I want to make sure I got this to y'all though. Because shout out to my Zoes, you feel me? Shout out to my Zoes. My Zoes. What's that joint? What's that song, dog? What's the joint, man? Man, I should have played it. If you didn't have technical, I was gonna play it tonight. Trust me. You know what I'm talking? I was gonna play that joint tonight. Let me see if we're gonna get it up in it, you know what I mean, later on for my Zoes out there. That's my favorite joint. I ain't gonna lie, we do the feel me? It's a lot of the slide. We do a lot of the thing to it though. You feel me? We jump to it though. You feel me? Real talk. So, you know what I mean? Y'all be safe out there, all my Zoes out there. When you see this, you know what I mean? Sapa say na bole. You heard? So yeah, no, Nah, you there? Can you hear me? Shout out to you, Nine in the building. You there, Nine? You good? He might have an issue with his mic right now. He might have an issue with his mic right now.
You can hear me?
I can hear you now. You good? You there?
Hold on. Give me a second. Give me 2 minutes.
No pressure. No pressure. You got time, actually. So what we're gonna do is this, God. Now that I sent you that, let me get to this. See, we had technical. We were trying to work out the glitches in our system to even get live tonight. You feel me? Cause it's so hot down here because the heat playing tonight. And we have a malfunctions if you ain't watching the game. You know what I mean? I'm blaming on the heat. It's hot outside. You heard me? So now I want to give you something about these Africans before we go into the El Negro part. You know what I'm talking about? Can you give me the dude real quick though, God, that we brought up last week so people can just get familiar with him so we won't ever leave the goalpost of how we even got here. Because he, in context, my dog Monte, you know, last week, shout out to him, when he came up and we break it down, because we went over the reparations, you know, I'm going to say he led in, say, Mac, I'm going to break this whole thing, I'm going to read through this whole thing. Shout out to him, you know what I mean? Because, see, that's why you got to have people on your team, because everybody ain't reading everything at the same damn time, right? So as we attack this information and try to find out what's going on, so we can really break down what's popping and what's not popping, right? There's people like this dude Ulada Equano, that's tied and he's born in 1745, right? You see the other name he got, Gustavus Vasa. You know what I mean? That sounds like some Spanish shit to me. It sounds like some Portuguese, Spanish, something like that to me. You know what I mean? I want to call him a Luso African. You feel me? But I don't want to be disrespectful. But as you see, the time frame when he's born, and as you go down in the next very paragraph, they got, it says, as freedmen in London, Ikuna supported the British abolitionist movement. Ikuna was part of an abolitionist group. You heard that is right? It says, as a freedman in London. They didn't say Africa, right? It says, Iquano, that's how I'm pronouncing his name, y'all. However you pronounce it, you can read like I can read. Man, listen here. Iquiano. Don't get mad at me about these words I don't pronounce everyday basis now. You feel me? Supported the British abolitionist movement. Equano, whatever, was part of the abolitionist group, the Sons of Africa, right? I mean, you got to read about the Sons of Haiti, right? Sons of Haiti, Sons of Africa, right? They both tied to what? A Masonic situation. If you didn't think so, or Frenchie. So when we get to who's members, it says members. It didn't say lineage. You notice that, right? It didn't even say their heritage or their bloodline. It said members. Sound like a lodge to me. You feel me? And then it says were Africans living in Britain. We got to point out that they're not even in West Africa. They're not even in West Africa that they say the reparations of slavery came from. You know what I'm saying? That people are trying to tie themselves to. The person that they use, this is the reparations, Scott, what we call him, he ain't on the court, but what's the guy that dresses up for the teams and shit? The mascot. He the mascot, goddamn. He their mascot. You know, feel me? This is their mascot dealing with us being African or putting the word African in front of our name, American. You know what I'm saying? It's a fabulationist. He's not an abolitionist. Well, today, I'm going to say that he's a fabulationist based off of those who are pushing the pan-African rhetoric. And it's clandestine of you if you're not a part of this goddamn, if you're not a member of this lodge and you're pushing this rhetoric, might need to pause for a minute. You feel me, God? Now, if you're a member of this situation, I understand completely. You know what I mean? And it's just like if it's a Moorish American part of dealing with the Noble Dry League, you're really part of the temple. You feel me? You're a part of that. I treat white people the same way. If you're an Amish and you're part of that shit, you feel me? If you're a Jewish and you're a part of that shit, is you're a Moravian, goddamn. You feel me? I don't give a damn. If you're following it and you're not clandestine to it and you're a member of it, the organization, by the way, that's what you is. You're supposed to push that, right? You're following the bylaws of that organization. But if you're not lineage based, tied to this situation, why would you goddamn push the rhetoric of it? A lot of y'all Pan Africans ain't. Just like a lot of the Moors ain't. So I want to make sure that's clear. As you see the link here pointing out all these things. Cause I got some more. I got another surprise for y'all. I wasn't playing. It's heat. It's hot out here. So now it says the interesting narrative of the life of Ulado. Ulada. I'm like Lauderdale. I'm gonna say Ulada. You heard me? That's how I'm pronouncing the name. Got the word Lad in it. You know what I mean? Ulada. You heard me? Hallelujah. You feel me? Then what we're gonna do, click on that Sons of Africa part though. So that's why I didn't have to even send you that link, God. I knew it was gonna be there. Feel me? I knew it was gonna be there. So Sons of Africa. We gave you Sons of Haiti. This is the correlation. We gave you the word of Frenchie. The word of Frenchie legally, not narrative wise, legally means freedman. So if you know anybody that has freedman lineage that's living in the Americas, you know, they got something in common. Just different regions. The Sons of Africa were a late 18th century group in Britain that campaigned to the end of African chattel slavery. The Correspondence Society has been called the Britain's first black political organization. Its members were educated Africans in London, included formerly enslaved men. And you see the two names. Go look them up. We know them last week. Yeah, Otoba Guano. You feel me? I want to make sure that's understood. You know what I mean? Now, go down a little bit. I want to catch something before we go into the next link. You know what I'm saying? This part right here. This is interesting right here. Right there. That paragraph. We're gonna go to the where it says they were allied. It's gonna take you about 3 sentences down after the word it says and speaking at lectures. If you were reading along with me, it says they were allied with the newly founded society for effecting the abolition of slave trade in 1787. That time frame, pay attention to that. I'm pointing it out for a reason with the next link. I'm gonna share it with y'all, right? It says including both Quakers and Angelians, including Thomas Clarkson. The Sons of Africa referred to him as our constant and generous friend. Now remember, this is an institution. You feel me? This is not a lineage. So when you hear Sons of Haiti and you hear Sons of Africa, you hear Son of Man. That's where they got it from, by the way. You feel me? Because I'm the Son of Man, goddamn. But guess what? I'm indigenous in the mud. And I'm a maroon. I should say I'm a son of a maroon, huh? You know what I mean? We're gonna start a new membership, son of a maroon, because they got son of Haiti and son of. No, I'm fucking with y'all. Either way though, this right here is there. I'm going to the next link though, as my man and I need to get ready for the El Negro part of this conversation tonight. We're gonna go to the Africa. We're gonna go to Africa real quick. Give me the Africa Roman territory, North Africa. I want them to understand. Because when we talk about the origin story and why some people who could have came out of Europe would still hold on and be in Britain or London dealing with the term Africa. In that time frame being that, you know, in the 1700s, actually, they technically ain't even got control, the British, right? The London don't got control of Africa yet. You notice that? They ain't even got control of West Africa yet. You feel me? So you know this is real, it's tied to something else. It's tied to something else. Slide down for me, God. Give him this. So Africa, if you didn't know, In ancient Roman history, the first North African territory of Rome, at times roughly corresponded to modern Tunisia. It was acquired in 146 BC after the destruction of Carthage at the end of the Third Punic War. Initially, the province comprised a territory that had been subject to Carthage in 149 BC. This was an era. I'm drinking a lot of tequila today. It's been one of them days. Area of about 5,000 square miles, divided from the kingdom. Scroll up a little bit. Of Numidia in the west by a ditch embankment running southeast from Tabarka to Taina, about 100 BC. Big words I can't use all the day. I don't use these words every day. You feel me? But that's where Africa's originated at. Tunisia, right? So Tunisia is tied to the Romans in Carthage. Are free, actually religiously, Ophir, Ophir. You know what I'm saying? And I've been saying this because we're going to go do your research because we ain't going to go into all them parts that I don't want to get too thrown off, but we're trying to get to a straight line. So if you're interested in these different parts that we stop off at, you know what I mean, you're going to have to go, do your research on it. We're just trying to give you a trail to go back and look at it and see it from a different perspective when you're researching this history thing and what these sons of Africa were doing. Because they were doing, he's obviously older than Prince Hall. Feel me? Olado, who's tied to this organization called the Sons of Africa. You feel me? Prince Hall ain't even moving around yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they're using him, not Prince Hall. I had to ask that question to myself. Why would you not use Prince Hall? You feel me, God? Why would you not even use him? No, you got to use something earlier than him because he's too late in the game. You feel me? You're too late in the game. But this is all you got. You done messed up. Because he's born in Carolina. The guy tied to this Sons of Africa theology and membership thing in 1745 when he was born. He was born in the Carolinas. He wasn't even born in Europe. He wasn't even born in goddamn Africa. You feel me? But he was tied and when he got older, his allegiance was tied to British and London with his objection of slavery. You feel me? But they're really tied to this Roman ideal of being descended from the Roman citizenship that was originally taking place with the Romans, first territory in North Africa. Ain't that something, God? That's what's so interesting about this shit. You feel me? If you didn't catch that part, let me say it again. That the Romans who conquered Tunisia, Carthage, and the tribe of people called Afri or Ophir, which is a Hebrew word, by the way, but still giving in religion. Some people try to mix that part up. However, this lodge and these Freemasons using these terms are using this term for a particular reason, and it's tied to religion. It's not tied to your lineage of going back to a whole continent of the like your people literally came from the same Tunisia region. You feel me, guys? Or West Africa. Like they're not using this term for that reason. Just like the people that are calling the sons of Haiti are not saying it for that reason either. That's why we're tying it together. Sons of Haiti, sons of Africa. Shout out to my Zos. A Frenchie, Labrie. These are simple things. If we get too deep, we might lose people. You feel me, God? If I was to go into all the other stuff we've read, I feel like we might just lose you. Feel me? Because there's so much detailed stuff tied to these organizations that's tied to London, right? Let me tell you another coincidence. It's not a coincidence, right? And see, another coincidence is not a coincidence. That the Sons of Africa is tied to the African Lodge 459. That was actually saying that the Sons of Haiti were in a real situation. You know what I mean? Ain't that some shit? You know what I'm saying? Pete Gang, 459, which was actually called 450, Lodge number 1. They weren't called 459 until they got the charter. So let's shout out some people I know that always like to tell me about charter. So we're gonna give you the situation, telling you about that. Give me the Black Britons, God. Give me the Black Britons, and after that, you see the last one right there. You can go from Black Britons to this one right here. From that one to that one. Right now. That's and then it's on 9. Again, shout out to everybody that's tapped in with us tonight. I know it's crazy like that, but I gotta get you this first. You know what I mean? Before we get into the Negro. You know what I mean? Because I've been hearing a lot of capping situations, but they don't know the institutions that they be tying themselves to. A lot of people be repping for people they don't even got literally they clandestine to it. You feel me? That's what bothers me more and more. That you really are repping for some shit that you ain't got no ties to. If you believe you have lineage to it, prove that part. But to say that you are tied to it, you don't even know that it's an institution. A lot of y'all don't even know that these are institutions. What up? So I ain't even got time to be fronting on you. You feel me? I ain't even got time to be even front. I'm not gonna lie. That's not how it's gonna work. You feel me? That's not how it's gonna work. I want you to understand that these black Britons, because London's closer to Britain than it is Tunisia, by the way. Scroll up a little bit, God. This is I got this link. I want to show you who the book come from in a minute. You know what I'm saying? I want to land on this real quick before we go into what we got to go into. Shut up, my man Lee Cummins. You hear me? Because Lee Cummins said to me, Mac, them black Europeans, they tell you that in history that their ancestors were, huh? Yeah, it's that shit. You all playing? John Mackey. Shut up to Mackey. Yeah, that boy right there wasn't playing what he said. These people know good and well that they tied to some British shit. Even if they want to say, because their ancestors might have been Roman citizens. You feel me, God? They have links to places like Tunisia, right? That ain't their origin, but underneath the Roman system, it might be connected to a certain thing. I'm gonna give them that historically. You feel me? That's tied to it. That is a factual thing. That there's some black folk that was in the place we call Afri, and that's the first place that the Romans went into and conquered. That is a factual thing. I get it. But what they don't get is that it was some black folk that also were citizens of that same situation at the time, right? Freedmen, manumission, and all that. It's tied to this same system. There are people who talk about being freedmen and ADOS slaves and all that, and the system that freed them from it is tied to the words like proclamation, emancipation, or manumission. I can't make this up. Type in Roman Empire and the word manumission together. Google that bit. You heard me? Make that a little bit bigger for the folks. I know it's hard for me to see, if you don't mind, bro. We're gonna put this all on time frame. We're gonna put this all on time frame right now for them real quick. I gotta get through it fast because they ain't gonna waste too much time on this. And again, if you tied to the organization, that's your business. I ain't even beefing with that. You feel me, God? It's for those who don't know that it's an organization involved. And you claiming some shit, you don't know there's an organization behind it. You might be thinking it's just history. Some pseudo shit. You know what I mean? So John Mackey, 1726, was a government agent or spy, author of the Memoirs of the Secret Service, was a Scotsman, you know what I'm saying, of good, it's going to say education, but his parentage, or, slide on, make it smaller, make it smaller. I'll make it small. I'm going to work with it. Because I ain't gonna be typewriting with you tonight, bro. There you go. Birth is known, birth nothing is known. According to his own account, he came early into the measures of the revolution, and being on the return of King James from Ireland to France, sent to Paris and to find out the further purposes of the Jacobites. He discovered the French government intended to send an expedition against the England in 1692. He arrived in London with the information before James reached his army encamped at La Hogue, and thus gave the government ample time for preparations against it. On the return of King William to England in October 1693, he was appointed inspector of the coast from the Harwich to Dover, in order to prevent Shisponia. Treason, I'm tripping. Look at me, I tell you, I need glasses. I'm being old. Correspondence between the two countries and passengers or letters. He discovered the proposed descent on England in 1696 in connection with the assassination plot of Sir George Barclay, like the Barclay Center in Brooklyn. Man. And then it says, and after a disclosure, published a view of the court of St. Germain's from the years of 1690 to 1695, with the account of the entertainment Protestants met with there, directed to the malcontent Protestants of England in 1696. Of this pamphlet, he states that no fewer than 30,000 copies were sold. After the Peace of Ryswick, 20 September in 1697, he had the direction of the packet boats from Dover to France and Flanders. And he states that during the negotiations connected with the partition treaty in 1698, he had the charge the transmitting of all the private expresses that passed between King William, and Lord Portland. Like, you know, Portland Trailblazers and shit, right? And it says the packet boat service was discontinued after the death of King William in 1702. Now, all this is, listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, if I read to read all this, it's a whole show. That boy Mackie deserves a show, isn't it? God, I gotta give him an OD too. I'm putting it on the record. We're gonna do a show on him by himself. All the information he wrote. Because there's too much information that they don't even talk about in history. None of your favorite professors, the doctors, and none of them bring up John Mackey, it seems. You feel me? But his accounts for swarthy individuals coming here is overwhelming. Very overwhelming if you read it. You know, but it's a lot of swarthy individuals John Mackey talking about in the King's Court. Royalty, nobility. Yeah, man. I want that to be understood. Now, look, I brought him up because I want you to understand that when he's talking about England, London, Britain, and all that stuff, it's tied to some things. I want you to see the book. So we give him that. He got to give him a shout out. I had to give him a shout out in the middle of this. You know what I'm saying? Look, he said, a fake white portrait of Black Charles Lennox, first Dukes of Richmond and Lennox. You heard? He said, fake white portrait. I like how they put that there on top of the screen. Let you know they don't agree with that. Because John Mackey's telling you something different. That's why he's saying that. Whoever put this joint out that I'm using as a source, shout out to them, because he read the John Mackey joint like I read it, and I know if you read it, that's why reading is comprehension, because you can't pay attention to pictures. Niggas can change pictures. That's where the whitewash comes in. That's why we do have issues with what we call so-called evil white folk. See, I said evil white folk. I say all of them was, but you know what I mean? Those who know better know what I'm talking about. And shame on you, because why you whitewashing them people that who they really is? If you took over, you took over. You feel me, God? If we on some gangster shit, just say you took it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to whitewash our history though. Goddamn. That's why it's bigger than just slavery, because goddamn it, they got us thinking we ain't got damn nobility or nothing. We ain't got no parts or nothing dealing with the foundation of what we call United States of America. Like Benjamin Franklin understood. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. I want to make sure you get this word. See how it says it? Fake white portrait of Black John Somers, first Baron. You know I'm Baron Somney, brother. You hear me? I'm a Baron. The Death Dealer's part. It's just Somers, 1651, 716. He was an English Whig jurist and statesman. He was Lord High Chancellor of England under the King William III and was a chief architect of the union between England and Scotland, achieved in 1707, and the Protestant succession achieved in 1714. They give me some detail. You want to go research these people in Europe. You heard me? Oh, yeah, right there where it says, he is of grave deportment, easy and free in conversation, something of a libertine, of middle stature, brown complexion, near 50 years old. I know they're not trying to tell us in today. You know, I had a man come on Clubhouse, God, and had a nerve to tell me that these people they're calling swarthy, brown complexion people was no. He said it was metaphorical. He didn't even say they had a tan. This man tried to say like they wicked. They were wicked people. They weren't dark-skinned people. They just wicked white people. He didn't even want to try to. He still tried to keep them to himself. Like these some wicked white people. You feel me?
But they're my wicked.
But they're my wicked white people. They can't be dark-skinned people. You feel me? They can't be brown complexion. No, he a white man. What do you mean he wicked? Dark in religious sense.
Too much.
Some people be tripping, bro. They be tripping, bro. When I heard that shit, I had to get on stage. I'm like, bro, this man come back at me and tell me that white people were involved with the Negro codes or the black codes in any of the colonies in the Americas leading up to 1751. Boy, I got a problem with you, bro, because you're going to have to talk to Benjamin Franklin. That's your boy. He a white boy, too. The white boy told us what it was already. He done messed up because Benjamin Franklin, he's the founding father of y'all shit. Yeah, look, Benjamin Franklin, nigga, you don't have to tell me why your white boy Benjamin Franklin said that. You hear me? Why you lying on the white man like that? Don't do that. God damn. Anyways, though, let me make sure that's out there. What up, Nan? I see you came off the mic. You ready? You tapping in with us? What's popping?
What's good? What's good? You hear me?
Yeah, you here. You right on time, actually.
I'm
You right on
clear.
time. I got one more joint. Then I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
I got one more joint. I want to make this plain and clear. Because see, people want to give us rhetoric. They want to give us all sorts of ideas about nations of people that were dark-skinned people in a place called Africa, the continent they call it today. But we talking about the real time frames of people that we know dealing with the Roman situation that came to the Americas and tied them to the evolution of the Roman system. You feel me? We need to be tracking the evolution of the Roman system. You know what I mean? And the people that's a part of it, good and bad. And it's black and white people are part of it, good and bad. It is what it is. Now, give me that joint, the last one, bro. We're going to get to 9. You know what I'm saying? El Negro joint. So now I hope you get yourself ready, dog, so you can share your screen for the El Negro wherever you want to start off at. You know what I mean? And it's on, I'm going to let you run with it. I'm going to let you run. You feel me? I want to make sure I give these people this, though. Shout out to my Zoes. And I'm breaking down the Sons of Africa. Because this is before you even got an African Lodge in 1791. Don't play with me. I've been telling y'all. Don't be putting them in front of our face we can't break down now. Because I ain't got time for that. We ain't going to do all that. We ain't even playing games. We gonna get straight. You coming for your throat. We ain't even got time. Feel me? So now you know the African Lodge was based out of Massachusetts, Boston, right? Right? Anybody that didn't know, I'm gonna let you know that. You know what I'm saying? Go research it. Tell me I'm wrong. Now, funny enough, this is what's gonna show you. In 1787, 2 decades before, African colonization by American born, like homeboy Ulada, right? He's American born. By American born blacks became national debate. Boston's Black Masons put forward a plan to return themselves and their families to Africa. You feel me? This is prior to 1790. This is the Boston plan. Feel me? This is prior to the census being taken in 1790 with the term free person of color. That everybody, even then, were being labeled as. Nobody's discriminated against that. All your colored folk were being labeled this in the American system at that time. They weren't calling them Africans because guess what? Africans, Europeans, and Native Americans were all being labeled based off the 1790 census as free persons of color or Negroes. Am I wrong about that, God? So there ain't gonna be no discrimination about this. You can't say, Matt, you being racist or, oh no, I'm not being biased. I'm gonna count everybody underneath that term free person of color and what politically their agendas were. You feel me? Because everybody underneath that situation to being designated based off a census surely ain't doing the same fucking thing. We ain't doing the same thing now. So why would I front? On March 6, 1775, that's the American Revolution, right? Prince Hall and 14 other black men were initiated into the British Military Lodge number 441. Of the Masons at Fort Independence, Massachusetts, having been barred from existing American fraternal organizations. They being exiled. Bar, exile, same shit. You can't get in. You feel me? Even if they fighting on behalf of the Union, they can't get into the lodges that are already established underneath the Union at this time. Peak game. You know what I'm saying? I'm tripping. On July 3rd, 1775, the Black Masons organized African Lodge number 1 under a qualified permit naming Hall. That's right, Prince Hall, who is named now as the Grand Master. The lodge met in the sign of the Golden Fleece, from which Hall conducted his catering and leather dressing business. That's right, he was doing things. He was handling business. He was just running around talking about rhetoric all day. He was about his business. He was a rebel. He fought in the war. He was getting money. It was May 6th, 1787, before the African Lodge received an official charter from London. You see that? So if anybody say I'm capping, you gonna have to check yourself before you wreck yourself type shit. You heard? Because see, the Sons of Africa and homeboy Olado, what his name? Olada, right? What's he connected to? London, right? Yeah, these it's like you pan-African, but everything you do is run back to Europe. How are you really looking for liberation if you're really trying to say your people come from out of Africa, but you're running to a European organization that's governed over areas in Europe and not even in Africa at the time, besides the areas that the British got. You know what I mean? Which is a small little corner. So at the end of the day, it's going to tell you on July 3rd, 1775, the Black Masons organized the African Lodge number 1 under the qualified permit, naming Hall as the Grand Master. Last week, shout out to Monte again, we brought up John Moran because he's, to me, like when I think of Olada and however you pronounce his last name, he remind me of John Moran, but he's older, you know what I mean? But John Moran is tied because he's tied to the time frame of Hall, who is the first Grand Master, because John Moran is the chaplain who gave the speech in this lodge that was set up. So, pan-African thing, I don't know. I read everything. I ain't gonna be non-biased about any information we come across dealing with our people. You feel me? Being labeled Negroes. What's that? You want to pull that up? I mean, whatever you want to do. I just want to make sure they get this meat right here. It was May 6, 1787, before the African Law received the official charter from London. It was number 459. With Hall's help, other lodges were organized in Philadelphia in 1797 in the Providence of Rhode Island, as the first Black society in American history devoted to social, political, and economic. See, when I say spectrum, because it's an acronym, it literally has them 3 acronym words in it: social, political, economic, and culture. Spec, like light, the speck of light. You hear me? Social, political, economic, and culture. I'm gonna give you the last 4 joints. But at the same time, it says though, they knew what they were really dedicating themselves to, in the upliftment and advancement of a certain group of people. I ain't knocking their motives. That's their business. Black Masons had a tremendous impact on wider community, involving themselves in every battle for the liberty and rights of Blacks. James Swan, one of Boston's Sons of Liberty, revealed that he had reprinted, I'm tripping, his argument against slavery at the earnest desire of the Negroes in Boston. You see how they just went back to Negroes? They went back to Negroes. Because everybody ain't subscribing on the record to being Africans. But what they all got in common at the time frame of the census is being called free persons of color, or being also labeled free Negroes. In Boston. Free Negroes in Boston. That's Boston. Y'all see Boston, the heat is here. That's why I'm getting malfunctions. They knew we was gonna bring up Boston tonight. Feel me? This is why I don't like Boston. I'm gonna let y'all know I never liked Boston. You know what I mean? I ain't never liked Boston. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. No, I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody got mad at me. It is what it is. Patriots, Celtics, I don't care. Y'all, I respect y'all, but I ain't never liked y'all. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So at the end of the day, New England, I ain't never liked that shit. This is as the first Black society in American history devoted to social, political, economic improvement. The Black Masons had tremendous impact. I mean, I'm reading it again so you can catch this shit. It's dumb. In your face. Slide up a little bit so they can read, just in case anybody. Because I ain't gonna read all of it. You're gonna get it. We got a lot of stuff to read tonight, so this is my presentation part. Huh? All right, go ahead. Give me that. We can move on. I don't want. We can move on because see, I think I landed my plane. Did I rest my case? I think I rested my case on these institutions tied to these words of sons of man and sons. Well, see, that's my term. I like sons of man still, but sons of Africa and sons of Haiti, right? Shout out to my Zoes, right? Sons of Africa were hating on the sons of Haiti. Now you see when we was in high school and middle school growing up, Pete, and niggas had days where they were hating on the Haitians and shit. You feel me? And niggas saying they Africans, but they hating on the Haitians. Nigga, why the sons of Africa hating on the sons of Haiti? You know what I mean? Y'all got so much shit in common. A Frenchie. God, God wanted me to put this out, so make it a little bit bigger in the blue, so everybody can get it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read from the top. Can I read from the top? All right, boom. Make it a little bigger. It is known how that's the dude, cool Gano. That's the other guy. That's one of the other guys tied to the Sons of Africa. Founding. That's his homeboy. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. And then it says, his freedom, perhaps his master formerly freed him, or simply walked away and found other employment on terms over which he had at least some control. What is recorded in August 1773 is his baptism in the name of James Stewart. Oh, shit! Let me stop playing. You already know what that means, right? Why is it that you, that's why I had to go ahead of it. Because you said blue, I see Stewart. I'm like, I gotta give him the Stewart, because this go back to the same Toussaint, how you say his name? Toussaint Louverture. Louverture, right? He's a black Jacobian. Feel me? Tied to the same people that's revolting in Europe in the 17th century, right? That's tied to the same surname of people of nobility that's considered swarthy people that the white dude tried to tell me it's metaphorical. You got me fucked up. You ain't that metaphorical, boy. I'm very understanding of metaphorical things, you know what I'm saying? But that ain't one of them. Because I'm dark already, why would I need to call myself dark? Got me fucked up. At the end of the day, a black age 16 years at St. James Church, Piccadilly. I ain't gonna lie to you, they got some good food. You know what I'm saying? I grew up eating Piccadilly cafeteria. I ain't gonna front. My people took me to Piccadilly. That's how I know we got that. You know what I'm saying? We be going to Piccadilly. Anybody from the South, you know what I'm saying, especially in Florida, you feel me? Y'all know about Piccadilly. There's only one left. It's in Hollywood. You hear me? Get up the turnpike. It's right there. About 5 minutes going west. You feel me? Of Hollywood, right? Of Hollywood Boulevard, off the turnpike. Literally, it's right there. After you pass over 441, it's gonna be on the right hand side. Piccadilly. It's the only one left. You know what I'm saying? So I know that Piccadilly word very well. I've been eating up since I was a jit. But at the same time, it's tied to some European shit. You see that, right? Ain't nothing African about that bit. I'm pointing that out too. So we gonna get down to the blue part because all that other stuff got. The majority of the Afro, and see, they put the word Afro, it's not African there though. British writers of that period, Ukasa, Gronesaw, Phyllis Wheatley, John Morant. You see that boy John Morant? That boy John Morant be into everything, just like that nigga John Morant today. He be into everything. What the fuck, nigga? You ain't happy? Bang, bang, bang. No, but literally, Cugano and Equano were all evangelical Christians influenced by Methodist ideas as it indicated by their statements, their writings, and their religious allegiance. Oh, don't get me started tonight. I'm trying to tell you, this ain't got nothing to do with no lineage or no heritage. These people are trying to tell you that you've come from today. Because it's all their origins are going back to these groups of people, right? I mean, if I'm tripping, I want you to tell me I'm tripping, y'all. I'm gonna pour me a little more tequila, so I won't pretend that. Maybe I'm tripping. I'm gonna give him a pause for a minute. Am I tripping? Because all this is tied to some organizational, you know what I mean? It seems like they're black Europeans, but Calvinists, evangelical. My grandma on my mama's side was evangelical. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, I lie. Matter of fact, my grandma on the other side was, and some other shit too. Like that's what it is. But none of that shit got nothing to do with what we talking about when lineage goes into being a slave coming off a boat from West Africa. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of it got nothing tied to it. Where they at? And none of this rhetoric of their institutions are they even talking about West Africa. You notice that? I don't know if y'all caught that. Maybe you ain't caught that yet, that the institutions ain't getting no charters or nothing from a king or anything from the land or the continent, especially south of the Sahara. And matter of fact, because of what's going on, they ain't getting it from the north of Sahara. So guess what? Even if we want to start with the Roman society or Roman Empire in ancient time, BC time frame, of going into places like North Africa, Tunisia, Algeria, Mauritania, or modern day Morocco, North Africa, we are not going to assimilate that the fact that they're still trying to say that today that we're supposed to correlate that to that. Because see, guess what? Them people in the Roman Empire been in Asia, because Romans also they say the word Asia is tied to the Romans just like Africa is too. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? Eurasia, right? It's tied to the Romans too, right? Excuse me, Armorica too, right? Julius Caesar, Armorica, 5th century AD, that's tied to him too. All these names is Roman tied. These black people that's blackamoors tied to a Roman situation ain't got nothing to do with what they telling you later on. I'm gonna make sure I put that out there. Your surnames tied to these blackamoors ain't got nothing to do with what they talking about in this narrative they gave us of being slaves on some ship, and we need to go back to Africa for that purpose. That's not what is going on. I read it to you. The institutions, go research the institutions again for y'all folks that subscribe to being first in your lineage as Africans. Cheers to that. That was good. Now, what you think about that, man? When we get started with your part, what you think?
I love it. You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro. Be loud and clear.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you was hitting on 1773 with the Black Jacobites, because that was Pope Clemente the 14th who suppressed the Society of Jesus, which had to do with the Order of Christ, which is the Templar Order. But he suppressed that because of Francisco Felipe, who I'm going to talk about as soon as I share my screen. Hold on.
It's on you now. I want to get that part out the way, because after last week, what Monte did last week to that reparation shit, you heard me? Shout out to Monte again. It made me dig a hole. And now I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all gonna use this man for reparations? You shouldn't use this man for reparations. This is where y'all messed up at. Feel me? Because if you're gonna tie everybody's lineage in America, you ain't say Lucy. You ain't say what's the other African thing they try to use to say because they can't even use that technically. In law, that wouldn't even work anyways. So this is in 1745, a person born in Carolina technically could be a mulatto for all we know, right? God, we don't even know if he full just African from North Africa that's living in Europe with a European name, or if he even came out of West Africa. We don't know none of that. None of that shit even making none of that. So his lineage is very obscure, dark, like the metaphorical understanding of his lineage. You hear me? His skin matches his lineage because it's obscure. You feel me? We don't know. You feel me? How about that for metaphorical understanding? Goddamn, you feel me? Don't play with me with that shit. Anyways, though, now it's on you, dog. How you want to start this? Well, is there anything? Does anybody want to catch up dealing with the series we doing? And we're doing it in parts. There's so much information that I'm breaking it up like this, and I need to kind of let you get a head start because there's so much other stuff we got going on. But when we started this series with the El Negro and how it's tied to Rome and how it's tied to all the different things, you feel me? Like the word Negro is tied to that word blackamoor, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like we know it's tied to Rome, you know what I mean? That's why we about to do this series. Before we do this series, we got to give them the El Negro, you feel me now? Before we go to the Rome, from Rome to Babylon, from Rome to America, right?
Facts.
We got to give them this before we do Rome to America. Feel me? Before we walk it.
You always need Rome because of the popes and the papal bulls.
Exactly. We go do Rome to summer will get hot for y'all. We going from Rome to America. We're gonna take you on a trip.
So just to start it, this wasn't part of it, but I want you to grab this first paragraph because it wasn't part of it, but you was talking about it.
That part. Go ahead, sir. It's all you.
During the pontification of Pope Innocent the eighth, Francisco Negro, his name is Felipe, Francisco Felipe Negro, a Milanese by birth, was governor of Rome, and him and Peter the Martyr served as secretary, a service which for some reason necessitated several months' residence in Perugia. I just wanted to put the El Negro in there, the governor of Rome in 1485, because we're going to jump right into the flow. But I just wanted to give the people that this source is D. Over and over, the 8 decades of Peter the Martyr. You can get it online at internetarchive.org. And it shows what Francisco's role was and who actually married in. So we're tracing who married in so we can get the kids of the Negroes coming in, because great Aristotle family over there married into Francisco's family. And we don't have, at the present moment, that lineage, whether it was Negro, Caucasian, or whatever the case may be. But you could surmise Francisco the Negro and the Giovanni family and the Orsini family, they all conglomerate together. And we know that the Orsini family is attached to the Medici family. But let me get out of here. I'm going to go back in here, and I just want to throw that book in there. And we're going to start this right.
You're going to have to get it right, because they don't know what's coming to them right now. See, the party, that's why I shout out to the party. When we say that we be researching stuff and we be spending time like casually amongst ourselves in the group, looking and digging up everything, dealing with what we call our people. We brought our people being autonomous, right? In present day time, that's going to be the gift, to be autonomous today. You know what I mean? But we got proof of people that were autonomous back then. You know what I'm saying? They were self-governing themselves back then. We got to show the examples of that too. But and even in the good and the bad of it. To say I ain't gonna be sweet, that makes it too, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm picking a side, right? We got to tell our history forthright. You know what I'm saying? Morals, not dogma. You know what I'm saying? The dogma got to be dispelled for us to be autonomous today, dealing with the understanding of who we are today and the ethnogenesis of what took place in American history. Go ahead, Nine, it's on you.
Okay, the last one, we're going to continue from the last one where we were looking at Enrique Diaz, the Knight of the Supreme Order of Christ. We was looking at him because he's an indigenous warrior, so y'all have to go back and get part 1. And his partner in crime was this brother, Antonio Felipe Camaro. And I'm just showing them because we're going to go into their wives real quick and what they were doing. Okay, so the picture below is possible to see the third of the indigenous people commanded by the husband of Clara Camaro in the image that recognizes the importance of the indigenous and African, we're going to kill that, people in the armed forces of colonial Brazil. Both groups are represented at the bottom of the work. It should be noted that the indigenous rosiers located in the lower right corner are barefoot and dressed in the typical costumes of the Jesuit villages. Now we're going to go to this just to show you. I showed you these two people, but you see Enrique here. This is supposed to be Enrique. This is not the same person. So this army ain't the same person. He was called Negr0, and you can get that in the book that we're going to show at the end of this, which is from the 1600s. This is Enrique Diaz, so you see his army is painted right, but they want to show them as African, when we know Enrique Diaz to be an indigenous warrior born in Pernambuco, Brazil, and only enlisted in the Spanish army because of the signs of the time, and being independent wasn't working. But these two brothers worked together, and I just wanted to show that. Let's get into their wives. El Negro, indigenous Negrita warriors of Brazil: Maria C. Camaro, Maria Quintero, Maria Clara Diaz, which is the Diaz's wife, and Jaquana. Now, There's very little on them, but we were able to dig up something on them that's definitely credible. One is from LinkedIn, and you want to grab this one, Mac?
What you just said, now? What you just said?
I said you want to grab this one, the first one.
Yeah, go ahead. Go back up. You want me to start where? You want me to start at?
Right there where it says pepper hot.
Pepper, excuse me.
Pepper,
I said,
pepper.
all right, boom. I got you, boom. All right, so it says pepper and hot water. It was the simple weapons and domestic. It can be said that the woman, and I ain't gonna pronounce this word right, te juk apapo, resisted and defeated the Dutch troop that invaded their village 370 years ago. They fought in defense of their homes, children, and families, and with the courage that has always characterized the Brazilian women. The year was 1646, and the Dutch occupation of Pernambuco and the northeastern states had lasted since 1630 and would be defeated finally in 1654 by the great Brazilian effort that united Portuguese settlers, the Indians of Felipe Camaro, and the blacks of Henrique Diaz. To these must be added the woman led Maria Camaro and Maria Quiteria. Thank you, brother. And this is Maria Clara, and that last one, Joa Quina, who led the resistance in Te Papo and conquered in the struggle the right to be a part of the pantheon of Brazilian Hebrews. The Dutch were under siege at Recife, that's Brazil, and in dire need of food. On April 24th, 1646, a troop of 600 soldiers commanded by Admiral Lieutenant left Fort Orange on the island of Itamarca, and he attacked the village of Tejacupapo, north of Recife, in search of cassava and cashew, like your nut, pause, flour, which would be a remedy for the scurvy that hit the invading troops. It says to attack, they chose a Sunday, the day when the men of a locality would be in Recife, participating in their fair where they sold their fish. I love snapper. In the village, they hoped would be unguarded. There would be only women, children, and elderly. Man, they stay doing this shit. You heard me?
Facts. That's why I wanted to go there with the women, because when you read the book that I'm going to put out later, they were actually like, going to the areas and peeping them out and say, oh, they got this ceremony where all the men keep leaving this month. So they called off their last attack just so that they can get a stronghold and sack the town. And as you see, the women held their town. I'm going to grab the second part. The news of the
Shout out to my
movement
women out there. You heard me? Shout out to the
reached the
ladies that
village,
deal
where
with
they
this shit.
quickly
Right?
organized the defense, mobilizing the population. The few men who stayed there, the women and even children, they dug trenches, gathered everything they could use as weapons, sticks, stones, some firearms, the pepper and boiling water mentioned earlier. They set up ambushes against the attackers, who surprised mainly by using an unexpected weapon. They threw pepper in their eyes, and they were shooting peppers. I think this was like the first water gun, because they showed them in the Brazilian museum shooting pepper water, hot pepper water. Anyway, they threw pepper in their eyes. In the end, the battle had killed 300, mostly invaders. And the victory was of herons of Tuja Kupupu. I'm going to say Tuja. Tuja. This perhaps was the most important battle on the Brazilian soil, with the participation mainly of women. It was this battle that the communist leader Luciana Santos referred to the statement against the ongoing coup against President Dilma Rousseff. She lined them up the same list of heroines that included Anita Gribilda, Olga Bonera or Bonario. She was considered a Creole, and so many others stood out in the struggle for democracy and national sovereignty. The heroism of women of Tija, I'm gonna call it Tija, is remembered in the district of the municipality of Goana by an obelisk installed by the say that shit. I can't say that.
Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at?
Whose commemorative plaque reads, "Here, in 1646, the women of Tejo won their Huron treatment by having with them arms alongside their husbands, sons, and brothers, repelled 600 Dutch who retreated in defeat. Memory of the Archaeological Institute in 1931. The heroic feat of these women is also recorded in the books and films. Among the films, Tuja Pupu and the Epic of the Heroines of Tuja Pupu stand out.
The names.
Yeah. Among the books that can be read is The Olos de Fogo, 2011, by Helena Gomez and Katia Brenzon. And the novel, whatever, y'all can read that, by Marlena Filippo. Finally, it is a historical site and it's held annually since 1995. I'm going to show you.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
I wanted to just show the picture because they do this every year as a commemorative movement. You see on the top, you see the Dutch soldiers supposed to be laying out, and the women in the trenches got their little things. So they basically do the little resurrection.
Right there though. Right there though. Wait. Right there though. You see where it says? Brazos?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna let you get this part too. I want to say this, but
you see
down
where it
here,
says Brazos?
Yeah,
right?
no. I need you to get this. Down here, you see that the two people that we showed earlier are the Negrios of this place, and that was Camaro and Henriquez. But grab that Southern Cross because it means a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yes it does. Oh my gosh, for my metaphorical people out there. It says the Southern Cross, a constellation, well, representative of the wonderful sky of our land, in which, according to some authors, was one that gave the primitive names of the land discovered by Pedro Alvarez, is still linked to yet another tradition of national symbology, as it recalls the cross of the Order of Christ, which appeared on the flag of the empire and featured prominently on the flag of memorable Portuguese navigations, a flag that fluctuated in the winds of the entire globe, a flag that before any other was unfurled on the land from Brazil, flag that, according to documents from the time, presiding over the battles of the Dutch War, defeated by Vidal de Negros, Negro, El Negro, because day is French, like how you have El for Spanish, for those that ain't know. You know what I mean? Day, like Washita, Day Dog Demonia, that word day is French. El, still we talking about Negroes. You see that? Was about Negrios. Anyway, so Camaro and Henriquez Diaz in the first battles in which Brazilian soldiers fought. And finally, it traveled through the backlands of the continent in the hands of pioneers from Sao Paulo, from the Guianas to the Plateau, and from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Go ahead, God. You can slap me, my bad. Go ahead, now you can pull up.
So the
More. I
Southern
forgot you got
Cross,
control of this.
they're making correlations between the Southern Cross, which means the constellation. They're looking at the constellation here because this constellation permeated through the histories of the world in its antiquities, from Plato speaking about it, Socrates, Dante's Inferno has a epic on it. And when they speak of the Southern Cross, it's only seen in the southern skies, and you can see it best from Brazil. From
That part.
inland, you cannot see it. From the Rock of Gibraltar, you can see the top 3 points of the Southern Cross because it's a 5-star system, but 4 in the shape of a cross. Many flags that you will see in the coats of arms have the 5 stars with the one that's adjacent, like to the right of it. But they're basically speaking of this ancient land. They knew of this land for years. And like
That
they
part.
said, before it even, what they said in the entire globe, they said a flag that fluctuated in the winds of the entire globe.
That part.
So they definitely speaking about this land, and it was very covenant. And this is from the book that is from the 1500s, 1600s that we were talking about. It really means the bandits of Brazil. But there go
Shout out to my Zoes.
Bandits of Brazil by Clovis Ribeiro. And he speaks in depth about who I, of course, and we believe to be of what you call Alfonso the First. He speaks in depth about Alfonso the First and his wars in 1100s and what flag he was representing and why they call it the Order of Christ now.
That make a lot of sense. That like, no, I guess because of religion, right? Nah, real quick, check this out, right? Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'll give you credit, right? When I met you, and you told me about the Southern Cross, and you're like, Matt, got to think about it from the constellation. Don't think about it from the religious sense. You remember when you said that to me?
It's not religious.
Right. So we only know the Southern Cross in the constellation sense to be located a certain place over a certain continent, landmass. Right? So
Fact.
oh, look at the music. Come on. The music came on after I said that shit. I was like, like a movie and shit.
That was my phone.
Your phone sound like a movie after I said that shit. You heard me? No, but you know what I mean? For real.
But yo, like you said, it's not religion. It is the world made it religious. It was spoken about in ancient times. There were navigators that been here, and we're going to uncover and unravel that as we go. But it was spoken about in reverence of the most antediluvian people. And like you said earlier, with these orders, some of the orders tell us about this cross. Some of the orders don't. A lot of them don't. But the Rosicrucian order, at least 2 of the Rosicrucian orders, speak in depth about this cross and what it meant to the world as the people that came out had, as George Kleinberg, no, what's his name? Kleinberg, I forgot his name. From Ancient Mystic Oriental Masonry said, these flags from that Southern Cross engulfed the world and its empires vastly spread it out all over the world. And we're going to get that before we leave here, just so people can get it. But that first section was about, we only focused on 2 women there, and we're going to come back on the other 2 later on, in another series. But I wanted to focus on the first 2 because they were the wives of the 2 warriors that were part of the Order of Christ, which is just a repackaged Knights Templar.
Hey, it hurts. Listen, it's gonna hurt. Shout out to Miss Sherry. You see that picture? You see that picture? Stop right there. This picture right here. It's so interesting because they got gold, they nobility. You can tell they nobles. They know
herringbones. They got the herringbone links on. Big boys.
Yeah. They're big boys. You feel me? Whatever they rocking at that time frame. You know what I mean? Them boys ain't no. No. You know who these people be called, right? Nah. At this time frame, this is connected to a certain group of people. That shout out to my Zoes, because today the Zoes are tied to the term Creole.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Zoes are tied to the term Creole. But most of my Zoes are going to say, French, because that's who they broke away from. You know what I mean? But Hispaniola, the same island that the Zoes on that island were already on, prior to French taking it over, was being run by Spanish. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So the people who are tied to the term El Negro and these Spanish words that of dark-skinned people that their names will be tied to coming into Hispaniola at this time are tied to people that look like this, called Luso Africans.
You might as well grab that because they give all the terms.
I was ready for it. See,
right here. Grab this because they got all the
tripping.
terms.
I don't know why people be acting like I don't know this. They be acting God, right? They be tripping on me, right? Y'all be sleeping on me. That's what it is. Listen here, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because this is fun, actually. This is actually entertaining to me that we can have these conversations like this live on this platform. Because it's live, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I know when they show that picture, you go to a doctorate, you can go to you know what I mean? They all will tell you that that's tied to the Luso Africans. But look, where you want me to go? Point to the area you want me to go.
Right here.
Over 1,000? That's where we must start?
Yeah. Them three paragraphs.
I bet. It says, over 1,000 years of these new arrivals filtered eastwards and southwards to produce the Native American civilizations, which are known in archaeology and history, elements of modern Native American society prefer to propose that they have always been living in the New World, and that the migration simply did not take place, despite overwhelming evidence which places human evolution firmly in Africa. And I'm going to go say that the evolution and the origin story that the African is tied to Roman. How about I say that? Because when we walk down from Roman
that's why he says
to America, we're going to show you why we're trapped into the Roman origin story. You feel me? Yeah. I'm going to show you, by you saying you African, you're tied into the never-ending story of the Roman Empire. That's what you're tied to. But you could choose to be a Gentile in that story, by the way. Feel me? And Gentiles have nations and empires outside the jurisdiction of the Roman Empire, by the way, before I read the rest of this. I want to make sure I say that to you, since we're talking about the Roman origin story and how they tie Africans into it, right? So, I ain't going to sleep on y'all today. This is the mosquito. Am I right? Where am I? Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. I'm right. I said Mosquito Coast forms the eastern, and this is the Atlantic border of Nicaragua. The people here are a combination of indigenous natives, possibly related to the Maya, and the Afro-Mosquito mix, largely dominant towards the north of the territory, plus Afro-Native Americans and English. Now, I'm going to stop right there because every paragraph of this, I can go in, right? Now, so the Mayans and the Africans, the Luso Africans, who are technically Creoles, because they're earlier mixed in the language that those Luso Africans are speaking in 1492, dealing with the European African, that's mainly Portuguese, and I would say some Spanish folk, as it look like this, that picture you got there, is going to be tied to the ones that come into what we call the Mayan civilization or empire, Inca, Toltec, Aztec empires, groups of people at the time of 1492, first contact. Them people you see in that picture, that's the ideal of what they call a Luso-African, right? That's who's coming across in the transatlantic slave trade based off of Spanish and Portuguese at the time in 1492. Coincidence. Columbus gets, is coming to America, discovering a place. Coincidence. That Songhai Empire, has been conquered by Askia Muhammad, started a whole new dynasty in West Africa, kicking out Jews. There's a lot of, I ain't gonna lie, Yahudi. I like to say, shout out to my Yahudi out there. Shout out to my Yahudi. I ain't biased. You hear me? Shout out to all my Yahudi out there. know what I'm saying? That they call today with the J, Jews, you know what I'm saying? Or, Hebrew Israelites, Yasharal. I know all the terms. Don't sleep on me now. But at the same time, when we deal with the historical standpoint of it, these Luso-Africans that you see in that picture are mixed in that term Creole. Shout out to my Zoes. They're called Creoles with the K in front, no C. European and African mixture people coming to the South American region and mixing it with that Mayan part we just got to reading about. I want to give my little ad lib. That's my ad lib. Now I'm going to read the rest. It says mosquito royal family itself gradually interbred with African arrivals to produce a line of descent, which by the early 19th century was almost entirely pure African in its ethnic origin. The original mosquito language is still extant, although it exists alongside Creole, English, and Spanish, the latter of which is now the language of the officialdom. Their traditional territory stretches from Cape Cameron. You see that Camaron?
Mhm.
Y'all see that, right? That kind of look like the word Cimarron, ain't it? Don't it look like
Facts.
Cimarron to you? I know that word Maron. Don't get me tripping about the word Maron. I'm a Maroon. I trace everything back. M-A-R. Even though it got a little, is that a dot? Is it my screen? Hold on, make sure. Yeah, it's a dot on top of the O. Is that all right? Am I
Yep.
seeing this right, y'all? That's a
Yeah, it's
dot on top.
perfect.
Like how they, okay. So either way, we're dealing with C-A and then Moran. Moran. M-A-R-O-N. Moran. Put another O. What you got? A maroon, right?
Of
But this
course.
Moran term is dealing with a Sephardic lineage tied to these Luso Africans. You know what I'm saying? And the terms is being used and designated for these areas that these people are going to. But I ain't gonna go into that right now either. I'm letting little drop. My ad lib. It's just in the north. It's just now on the coast of Honduras to the river Rio Grande de Ma, Mont Gal Pa. Mount Dot. Oh, I fucked up that whole. I was trying to. I
Matapa.
moved too fast. I moved too fast with that shit. I moved too fast.
Matapa.
Mont Galpa. Mont Galpa. That's how I'm gonna say it. Mont Galpa. That's my three breakdown of this. Like I put it in three. Mal, Got, and then Pa. To let y'all know. Anyways, it says in the south, approximately central to Nicaragua coastline. Now you can slide down. Show the picture of the Luso Africans one more time. They tripped. It tell you, wait, it tell you who it is. No, go back to the picture.
It's right
Make it
here.
bigger. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
tell you.
come up.
All right, there it is. All right, so now, was I capping though? No, what I said was I
Oh no,
capping on
no,
my
no.
ad libs. Was my ad libs live in the booth? Was I tripping? Because if I'm tripping live, you can tell me, Mac, you tripping, Mac? You get pseudo.
Nah, you ain't tripping, and they don't really have their history anyway. So we gonna go with what they say, and they basically got them as one generation removed. They got them free, but they got them one generation removed. And think about this: we're in the 1560s right now. Right? Come on.
That part. All right. So now, this portrait of an Afro-Indian. Let me pause. I'm saying it again. This portrait of an Afro-Indian leader from Ecuador, his son and his companion commemorates their support of Spanish rule. Don Marco, did you say that earlier?
Nah, not Marco.
Don Juan. I was just, thinking about some battle shit just to make
Yeah.
sure it's kicked in. It says Don Francisco de Aruba, pictured at center, was the governor of a town of some 500 people on the Ecuadorian coast who, in the late 16th century, agreed to recognize Spanish rule. Shortly thereafter, this portrait was commissioned by a colonial official in Quito, Ecuador, as a gift for King of Spain, Philip III. I'm gonna pause. Where you want me to go? How you want to do that? That's profound. People need to catch that. That paragraph was deep. The
Oh no,
paragraph
no,
deep right there.
it was definitely deep because it's commissioned, and he wants to, and that's where I take it that you don't got a history of them. You don't want to you quick to put someone in Africa.
That
So
part.
for you not to have a history of them, you want to see who these people are. It's commission. If you're on that side, Philip III saying, "Show me my peoples." That's
Show
holding my
me
joint down.
that part. Listen, I know non-ether. It's the ether situation. You know what I mean? It's the ethers over here. You feel me?
Facts.
Don't play with us over here. We in the ethers anyways. But when we land on the plane of the kingdom, we gonna move into action. That's why they gonna get this work. You feel me? Because we ain't even come here for that part. You feel me? I know I'm in the ethers already, but still, I'm landing on the plane to understand who my peoples is. My peoples need to know who their peoples is and what happened in this history. You feel me? I want to make sure we clear on this. You know what I'm saying? This is like it's so much details to this. You feel me now? You want to get this next part? It's on you.
I got
Which
you.
one to do?
I got you.
All right, go ahead.
The particular identity of these three men are being from Ecuador's coast is marked by their shell necklaces and gold face ornaments. Large Spanish-style ruffs surround their sitters' necks, while loose indigenous ponchos cover their bodies. Such rich garbs, clothings, no doubt, adopted for the portrait. Nah, it ain't adopted for the portrait, it's popping. Let me stop. Was the
Yeah.
privilege of indigenous elites who drew on clothing traditions that signified power within both Spanish and indigenous traditions. At the center is Don Francisco de Orobe. To the viewer's left is Don Pedro, his son, who is the age given at 22, and another young man, Don Domingo, who others say that is his other son, but we're going to go with what they don't know right here. 18 years old, stands on the other side. At the upper right is the inscription registers the name of King Philip III, the intended recipient of the portrait, and Juan del Barrio de Sepulveda, the colonial official in Quito who commissioned it. The date of the work is 1599. Is also recorded here. Below is the cartouche. The painter's name, Andrew Sanchez Galque, who was a mulatto, appears in highly abbreviated and sophisticated calligraphic form. Patronage artist.
I
The
forgot.
portrait was commissioned by Juan del Barrio de Sepulveda, a high-ranking Spanish official, as a gift to the King of Spain. The portrait was created when Don Francisco de Orobe, who is pictured in the center in his retina, Retina? I don't know how to say that word, came into Quito. 1599. 2 years earlier, Barrio had been instrumental in Orobe's acceptance of Spanish rule and the painting records his feat. The artist Andrew Sanchez Galque was an indigenous man born in Quito. They say he was a mulatto. Of course, we know mulatto at that time to be of most records say he's a mulatto. That's why I pulled this one. And we're going to give the source for this one. But most records say mulatto, and this one doesn't. It says he was an indigenous man born in Quito and trained to paint the frairas. He
That
belonged
part.
to the Cofradia of Rome.
Frères. No, you said frères, right? That part.
Yeah, frairas. He's
Frères.
painting frairas.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely painting
Frères.
on the frairas at the time. So you can put his name in there in Google and start getting all his paintings, which is in Brazil, Portugal, and Spain, and some is in England. He belonged to the Cofradia of the Rosary, which had branches for Indians, Africans, and Spaniards. In the 18th century, Cofradia members sponsored the magnificent Chapel of the Rosary in Quito, Santo Domingo. Sanchez Galque's works and career suggest how interactions among people of different ancestry and traditions contributed to both the visual culture and lived experience of the Spanish America.
That part.
And this is just a little more on that
Ooh. Ooh.
joint.
Ooh.
And this is their style of the King's List. I only put it in there because I wanted to show you. We all see this King's List, and look over here, Carlos Quintos. They whitening him again.
But let me look. Listen, that's why this shit get deep, right? Because we got to show people this shit, right? Now, we got other pictures of this joint, right? And the fact that they not like, bro, this is a whole nother joint I've seen showing how they're showing these dark skinned people. Now, I'm not gonna call. Look, you see me, right? You see how I look.
But that's why I put it there so that we could talk, because this is what they doing to us.
Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Make it bigger for the people. Make it bigger for the people. Let's scroll down where it get to the white folk coming in. What we're gonna do? Make it bigger. All right, go to the dude. The first dude. Yeah, go. No, to the right. Scroll to the right. The other way. If it's your left, I'm talking about my right. There you go. Boom. All right, now make it bigger. Make him bigger. That first pale dude. They try to make him. Boy, look. Do you see? I know it's hard, right? Underneath the name, you see say L. You see that EL?
Yeah, I definitely see it.
And you see that M afterwards?
El Marquio, what it says? I can get it.
Man, that shit's crazy. I can't see it how I want to say it, but I've seen it before. But you see how they got the Southern Crooks with the sun going around it in the sky, right?
Yes, that's where they were looking for. They found
the
cross.
Right? You see that part, right? And they're pointing. He's pointing to it, and he's pointing to it. Peak game. He's pointing to it, right? You see that, right?
Facts.
Anybody don't see that? Now, if we was to show you a picture of this same individual on a whole nother joint in dark skin, right? In dark skin, right? Like a dark skin image, but in European garb, sitting after that, would we be crazy that it's an El Negro involved?
Mm-hmm. They're going to say we crazy.
They're going to say we crazy. No, Mac, this is the right thing. This is the right thing right here. You feel me? But the documents is showing that this person and how I'm glad we did it this way.
No, that's why we all seen the one that is the original one that's on the wall.
We know what's on the wall.
This is a replica. The other one is on the wall.
On the wall, they're not depicting the one you're showing me as a replica. For the folks out there that might not be catching this, because if you go to the wall, you're gonna find what's his name again? King what? He's King what?
Charles V, Carlos Quintos.
Carlos Quintos. Go ahead and type in that bitch in your Google, you heard? And you're gonna see, you know what I mean, if you want to do your research on it. There is depictions of Quintos, Juan, Carlos.
Remember where they were at? They were calling the place Quinto. They was calling the place Quinto up there.
Right. Carlos Quinto, Charles V. They're also displaying him as a dark-skinned person that's continuing now and governing over that lineage of people. You see me? Huh?
Facts.
I mean, I'm tripping. You want to debunk that, like the game, we can put some money on it. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that kind of action. Like the Heat. What's the score? What's the score? Oh, huh? What's the score? Give me the Heat score. What's the score? Oh, it's a wrap. Y'all Celtics done gave up. Hey, Nanita.
Yo, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Forget about it. You heard me? Y'all down 3-0. It's a wrap. You feel me? I should have. Hey, shout out to Rob. I told Rob, and this is live. I said, Rob, nigga, Lakers ain't gonna make it, and I ain't got no hate. Cause my pops love the Lakers. Feel me? But at the same time, they done made it to the goddamn Western Conference Finals. But them Denver boys is serious. I said that when the series started. I said, okay, it's a wrap. If these boys don't do this, they ain't did it. It's a wrap for them. So now it's gonna be Denver and the Heat in the finals, and I ain't got no choice but to ride with the Heat. You feel me? Because I ain't never. Besides when Carmelo played for him, this is some, current, nigga shit they say, right? But I gotta say it like that. You feel me? It's a Haitian. I'm a Haitian. You heard me, God? You know what I'm saying? Different nigga. Y'all know y'all come from Colorado. For y'all, 420 people out there. Y'all coming from Colorado, you come to Miami now. You hear me? Tap in with us. Tap in. Either way though. Yeah, it's about to go down. Shout out my boy Hemi. You know what I'm saying? My boy Hemi, he ain't playing right now. Hemi. Yeah, that boy Hemi ain't playing. Now that's all I gotta say. I had to give my quick little plug in for my city. You know how to do it. Don't get mad at me, dog. It's what it is. We niggas do this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk shit live. Feel me? Fuck out of here.
Yo, stop it. Stop. Grab that one. Grab this
No,
one. That's
I
what
got
you
this
do.
one. I got you.
We're gonna
Oh yeah.
talk.
So
We're gonna
oh,
leave
no,
America
oh,
real quick. We're
we
gonna
gonna
leave
leave, no
America
problem.
real quick on this last one. This is the last one, so we're gonna leave America real quick and just show you something up in England. Go ahead.
All right. No, can you show the shield one more time? Can you scroll up and show that shield with that tree on it? Because we rock with the tree. You hear me? As American Maroons and Indigenous people, and what we dealing with right now, you know what it is,
He got
Maroonville.
the
You know what it
feathers on
is.
the top of his joint. He got the feathers, the swarty. He's on the
Yeah,
castle.
yeah. You see that shit? He put everything together on that bit. You hear me? That was a hard ass picture, actually. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Trail, you see that, right? Shout out to Trail. You see that? You see that shit? That shit, we can do that. Oh, ooh, I got some ideas. Anyways, though, I was gonna slide down in footnote to a recent Article 1. And then there's there's a comment between that. So I'm gonna say in a footnote to the recent article, one Gustav Ungier concludes that the career of Spanish mercenary Pedro Negro under King Henry VIII is quite irrelevant to the study of the ideological conception of Othello because none of the available contemporary records mentions that Sir Peter Negro was black. He argues that Negro was more likely to belong to the Genoese family of that name, and that they settled in Spain and Portugal in the course of the 14th and 15th century.
Now, who's in
This
Spain and
country,
Portugal? El Negro.
El Negro.
El Negro. So
Wait,
he's trying to
wait, wait.
dispel it and
They're
place
trying
it
to dispel it.
further
They're
back.
trying to dispel a
He's
Negro.
trying to dispel it,
Look,
push it
right here.
further
I'm
back,
glad you.
thinking that we can't uncover it.
I'm glad you did this. Ooh, I'm glad you did this. This shit hard. This shit hard. Ooh, they tried to dispel the Negro back then. They
And then
can't get
place
rid of
them
the
just where
Negro.
we uncovered everybody.
It's not working for them. It's not working for them. Listen, you can't get like roaches. You can't dispel it. It's too late. Like the dude try to come in the room and say, "Oh, Swarthy, they're talking metaphorical." Fuck out of here. I'm telling you that. On Negro. Well, Obama got rid of the Negro. He tried to get rid of the Negro.
Yeah,
Obama
yeah,
tried to get rid of the
they're
Negro.
trying to do
It
it
didn't
everywhere.
work. We still here. You feel me? With all the lineage involved with it. You feel me?
Bring it. We right here.
You can't get rid of the Negro.
We ain't going anywhere.
El Negro. You know what I'm saying? I think we get a badge, a rank, and put it on my coat of arms and put El
I
Negro
told you I'm
now.
going to the next parade banging. I'm going to the next
You
parade
feel me,
with my
guy?
own crest.
I'm gonna have maroon on one side and El Negro on the other. You heard me? Real talk. But we know we indigenous to the place they call America, though. Either way, shout out to my Muskogee. You know what I mean? In this situation though, where was I at? All right, so man, dang, I lost my spot. Let me go back to the top. It says he argues that a Negro was more likely to belong to Genoese family of that name that had settled in Spain and Portugal in the course of the 14th and 15th centuries. This contradicts those who have taken this Spanish mercenary, knighted by the Protector Somerset in 1548, as evidence that is, I said it wrong, as evidence that it was possibly for a black man to gain prestige and honor in the 16th century. Britain, the chief protagonist of the Negroes, blackness, its literal critic is his Imtiaz Habib, who draws a parallel between Negro and Othello. Shakespeare's Othello should be considered in the context of black military service in Tudor armies and generally of the unacknowledged blacks of the 16th century in England. He's still in London. We still in London, dog. I'm talking about, boy. We didn't mention London, England. You feel me? So many times in this shit.
That's why it's
If y'all
perfect.
ain't catching,
That's why it's
if
perfect.
you
You
ain't
started
catching,
the way you started.
of course, because it's all gonna connect. This shit ain't got nothing to do with you in a historical standpoint or your genealogy standpoint, even though it's leading as a prefix in front of you being sprung from out of America as a melanated person, and you try to divide and conquer amongst the ideal that it's one over the other to use as a prefix in front of the term American, rather than say, based off of genealogy and lineage, that you have lineage to indigenous ancestors, obviously, and lineage to Europeans that came here, obviously. And if you can't find it, they obviously talk about people they call Africans, right? Which means we be talking about still Roman citizens, which means they could have been, we don't know what they is either, technically, genealogy wise. Feel me? Like, we really don't know. So I don't even like to speculate about the bullshit, but I'm gonna call it BS when I see it. And that's why this idea what they try to put in front of us now is a problem. That's why Obama got rid of the word Negro and not the word African, ain't it? Because African kind of ties to ecclesiastical law, ain't it? Non-ether.
Factual Vatican Roman law, ecclesiastical.
But the Negro might not, huh? You notice that?
Oh no, Negro gonna be the owners.
You feel me? That right, guy? You see that right, guy? The Negro is might not be involved with the Roman situation, but the African is.
They was funding them. Most of the Negroes was funding them. We showed that in part 1.
Okay, just want to make sure we put that out there. You feel me? I want to make sure we put that out there so people they want to reach, try to say, don't reach, don't get slapped. No, they're gonna slap your hand right now. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I will add that the Medici family had 5 popes, so they are from Italy. So there's one side, but not this side. Let's keep it going.
Listen, man, factual information
We're
being
gonna get
presented.
into the Medici family, 5 popes, in probably series number 3 or 4.
Okay. So we're gonna finish this part, and I'm gonna put a couple definitions out with that tied to this at the end of the night, so everybody can get some verbiage, some etymology with this too. We try to get rid of a little bit of everything in the conversation. I hope you got a little out of it. You take what you got out of it, and do what you got to do with it. You feel me? This is not a straightforward academic disagreement. Habit's rhetoric is infused with the underlying accusation that evidence of black mercenaries serving in the Tudor army has been suppressed by white imperialists. This black presence in the site of suppression inscription that is a model of empire building he has recently embarked. It also interesting that whenever any claim of historical significance is made for black person in early modern Europe, the blackness of the person has to be immediately challenged. It would appear that even though oppressed, the denigrated, ooh, that word denigrated, guy, you see that word denigrated? That's the Negro. That's tied to the Negro too, to be denigrated. In life, a black person has to prove her, shout out to my ladies, / his blackness for European history to even acknowledge her / his existence. Whereas a white person is white by default, and all significance is his or hers automatically. For white, the polemic approach is unhelpful. Unger's proof of omission is not sufficient to disprove Negro's blackness. Contemporary chroniclers have seen the name Negro as an indication enough that the soldier was black. In this article, I will revisit the evidence for the career of Sir Pedro Negro, including discussion for the first time of his will, his coat of arms, and a letter written in 1549 by Marion Like I say maroon with another, IOs can be interchangeable. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. Marion, Lady Whom, in order to re-examine the question of his skin color. You're shout out to my
Yeah,
Negroes
we
out
gonna, we
there.
gonna end with that, but I'm gonna give them the sauce so they can see the sauce.
You don't want no pressure with us with this Negro thing.
Let's just put that sauce up there.
You can't whitewash the information of this Negro. You feel me, guys? And you can't get rid of the fact that the Africans tied to the Romans. You feel me, guys? Period.
Facts.
Which means there's black people tied to the Roman situation from the outset of it. You know what I mean? Prior to it. And all that shit. You know what I mean? We predate. Negro predate the Roman shit anyways. You know what I mean? But anyways, because they say we from Babylon, by the way. I can go back there, but we gonna keep the Romans involved from a lawful standpoint. This is a good conversation that we having tonight. Shout out my man Nine. Said, shut up, quarter arm from his live. Yo, give me a couple of them links real quick before we go. I got the Blackamore joint. I'll give you a couple of this Blackamore joint. You know what I'm saying? Could be in that my Zoes in Haiti use the word, yeah. They use the word neg, like Negro, in front of the word maon. And they spell it Mawon. Am I right? Neg and then space Mawon, which is basically a black maroon. That's what that basically means in English. Like how in French they say neg maroon, which is black maroon, which is the black amour. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, brown. So when you're saying black, but then the maroon means brown, how do you get anything Caucasian out of it? Ain't no metaphorical understanding to what the Zoes already laid out with the French language they put out with their combinations or cosmetology. That's more French, right? We bonbon. You know what I'm saying? And all that good stuff. You hear me? That's that Wu-Tang shit. You hear me? Ice cream. All the flavors. You know what I'm saying? In the situation, I'm not gonna front. You know what I mean? Like some people be fronting. It's like, nigga, you can't avoid. See, I said, nigga, you ain't gonna avoid this part of it when we talk about it. See, say we throwing out Obama threw us out. You can't throw us out. Federally speaking.
Nope.
You can't throw us out without us being involved with everything involved. You know what I'm saying? Because we involved. And that's why the neg maun. And that's why it's funny because maun is a master or a lord that was blacked out and now is put into our Frenchy position in the New World, the Caribbean. That's what the neg maun, because the word maun still means like Moran. It still means master or lord. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that were blacked out from it are now being sent to the Caribbean, dealing with the term blackamoor or El Negro. Ooh, let me get me started. Don't get me started. Ain't gonna mess with me tonight. Oh, you got it? You got it? Give me the blackamoor joint real quick. See, I want to make sure everything's tied in. Because see, I ain't got, the more I found in the Black Law Dictionary, 4th edition, said that these Moors came out of Europe. And they were bailiffs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with what, the doctrine you've been given with some of the people that might follow the term Moorish American, like the Jewish American, or a doctrine involved. We're talking about the laws and the history tied to the Negro that also might be in a noble position, but they were stripped from it, black in front of his name. You know what I mean? With his surname coming after. Give me that one. However you want to go in line with them, actually, let them get all the black and more joints because the word black's being used in front of the term more. And the word more is also connected to the word maroon or maran or maroon, or the people who got expelled from these lands, Marano. You feel me? Now, am I tripping? If I'm tripping,
You on point. You on point.
if I'm tripping, 'cause I got the French, I could go, I could pull up. Like anybody want me to pull up. I got the French translation of this word of Frenchy. You know what I'm saying? So you think I ain't translate to all those joints too? I would be a fool. If you thought that I found a Frenchy and didn't know the correlation in the English of that, and that know the correlation to how they put neg in front of maroon. You feel me? And that know it go back to a blackamoor of French territories being sent to these areas. You feel me? That also could be labeled Jacobites. You know what I mean? Protestants, Jews, crypto Jews. You know what I mean? With them lineages and shit. They're Creoles. You know what I'm saying? With Ladino language, with Ladino lineage. Funny enough. But however the case, I'm going to say Inca. In Haiti, I'm going to say Inca and French. You know what I'm saying? The Ladino and all that. Anyways, though, how Blackamoor breaks down, you see it there. A European style. They say West African. They ain't even say North African. Notice that, right? Right? Blackamoor, European style.
Facts.
Which dark-skinned, usually male human figures are depicted, stylized, in ornate form. Now, the reason why I only want you to know that this word blackamoor is being used in later on in dictionaries that I could pull up on you if you want to bet. So I ain't gonna show you tonight. I got money on it. You know, we ain't playing. I could put money on this shit. The blackamoor term later on in dictionaries from the 15th century to the 16th century to the 17th century, the first dictionaries are stating that the word mulatto is tied to a blackamoor and an Indian mixture in the New World, 15th century. Dictionaries. Now, in the 16th century, they're using terms like Negro instead of blackamoor. But the blackamoor and the Negro are interchangeable. You feel me? The El Negro and the blackamoor are interchangeable in the New World based off of what colony you're dealing with. But they also know that these colonies of these people they're labeling El Negros and blackamoors are mixing in with indigenous populations of the Americas based off the regions. And also, calling them mulattoes and Zambos, like zombies, Indios. Oh, I lost my man. He's going to come back. Give me the next definition. I don't want you to see it. I'm going to let that sit there. Because, you know what I mean? We got the dictionaries if anybody want to come confute any of these things. You know what I mean? Tied to all the things we talked about with the El Negro, and why we're using a certain standpoint to go with this information of this series that we're doing, because I think it needs to be broken down, and maybe it's in context. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the Heat have blown out the Celtics at the house. You feel me? It's over. We were by 30 points. I'm telling you, that's why we had malfunctions. It was so hot down here. It was so hot down here that I knew, it might be dead tonight. And shout out to anybody that's watching this right now. Well, we ain't even watching the game, but I'm celebrating. That's why I've been drinking tequila heavy on. I was ready. I'm like, it's the game. I got to give you, you got to get this work on this show too. You feel me? It's even more heat coming. You hear me, God? Because the Blackamoors, you might have certain names connected to that later be called what? Negro heads of the state, right? In 1830s. The families. Negro heads of the family, 1830s. Like interchangeable, you could say Blackamoor heads of families, right? The European surnames they came over with. Yeah. The Blackamoor surnames they came over with. But yeah, it gonna tell you that. And it's not out of Africa. That's the funny part about these Blackamoors that coming over here, right? In the time they came, the Negroes, the Swarthy people, they're not coming out of West Africa. You know what I mean? But they tied to that Roman system, that manumission system, and that European system. That's the reformed edition of that same system. Right? Am I got round God? I'm a tripping. I want to make sure y'all get this work. We gave you Sons of Africa. We showed you that. Who's holding the traditions of keeping up that origin story of the Roman system and the people of dark skin descent coming out of them areas, huh? That's so ancient, though. That ain't got nothing to do with the fact politically who came over here in the 15th century. We breaking down the El Negro. So, but the El Negro and the Blackamoor are, synonymous, semantics. If you want to debate about that bullshit, but however the case might be, it's all documented right here, and we done broke it down for you. Nah, though, it's on you before we slide, bro.
You hear me?
Yes, sir.
El
Appreciate you
Negro, let
tapping
me
in.
show one more thing. Give me let me get it back in. Hold on.
It's a problem.
I got you
They
right
done
now.
messed up. They done messed up though. Because they presented their lineage that they're presenting for everybody to present themselves off of. They're presenting. This is not our fault. See, people always try to blame us for doing the research after you present them to us, right? Nah,
Mm-hmm.
they get mad at us for actually doing the research on what you presented to us. You know what I'm saying? And then when we go do the research, we both got the availability to the information. It's not my fault you ain't looking in the right direction, like a compass. You going south and I'm going north. It's not my fault that somebody told you that the north direction was really, you thought it was south, but I'm going in the right direction. So that's why these terms and things we're pulling up for historical understanding of what happened in the real history of what happened and how they try to whitewash these Negroes tied to a Roman affiliation and societies and everything throughout the history of the New World. That's all American areas, by the way. South, North, Central, Caribbean, Canada, Acadia, whatever you want to call it. You heard me? Nah, like I ain't even got kind to be biased. Because this El Negro been all over this motherfucker. You heard me? I ain't gonna front. Go ahead, Nah. I'm gonna slide. I'm gonna let you talk. My bad. Go ahead. You
No,
had
no,
to
I'm
say.
looking for some. Go ahead, give me one more minute. I'm trying to show one thing.
All right, you got one more thing to show?
Yeah, real quick. Hold on.
All right, we got 10 minutes. We go. I wanted to just show a definition, a couple of things. I'm buying you time, really. Because the El Negro sent me on part two of this bit. And we got so much more information. Like, it's like, do they really want that work? Nah, they don't want that work. They don't want it. I don't know. Maybe we might need to just do two more and let it chill for a minute. Because they might need to catch on. I don't know
You
if
know,
we need to go too far, right, guys?
we gonna close out because they won't let me show it.
They
Something
ain't gonna
wrong.
let you show it.
Nah.
I feel like I feel like they hating to a certain extent on the fact that we know. I'm telling you the energy I've been getting because they know we know. And now at this point, I'm saying, like, well, Mac, would you? No, I don't want to talk about that right now, bro. Because see, I'm not even in your field. The most people I know in real community, my area, they know I've been saying this shit and barking on niggas in my community. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't just, you know what I mean? For me, guy, like I've been saying this shit. You feel me? So it's like now it's like, okay, you wanted me, pandemic gave me the time. I don't like it, but you gave me the time to really do what we're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're out the pandemic now, even actually. And I'm still doing what I'm doing because now you done put a pulse on my ass, goddamn it. I got a fire. You feel me? Like the heat right now. I'm on fire, you feel me? And I'm gonna let you know that we're gonna trace all this shit down before I'm done. Cause I'm gonna go back to drinking margaritas and doing what I do. You feel me? Don't get me twisted, y'all. Feel me? Cause I ain't ever act like I'm trying to be nobody's savior. Feel me? I'm trying to walk 365 years like Enoch and be gone. I don't know if you really caught that. You heard me? I'm trying to walk my 365 years and be gone. You feel me?
Be gone.
So it's cool. While I'm here, I'm gonna write down what I found, and I'm gonna evolve my people. Constant elevation of life. The harsh reality is to live life autonomous. And that's the campaign. The autonomous party. Before we slide, man. Appreciate you tapping in. Sorry for y'all earlier. We didn't start on time. I apologize for that. It was on
Just want to give a
BPD
shout
time,
out to
man.
the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Ra Elizabeth, Al Steele, Bronze Flat Power God, Annette, Miss Annette.
Shout out to Miss Annette.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
shout out to
Cody.
Miss Annette, the elder. Yeah, shout out my man Guy one more time too, man. Earth Strong this past. Shout out my man Malcolm X. His birthday
Big
was
Cray
on
Money
Friday.
and everybody else that tapped in.
Uh,
Like, share, subscribe.
Super Blaze. Shout out my man Blaze. He been getting that money. You know what I mean? He ain't here with us, but he getting that money. That's what I like. Niggas, he's still what it is. We tap in. We don't hate on nobody. Get your money. Cause we a party. We know what it is. We gonna be here. But at the same time, everybody has you know how we move. Everybody knows what it is. You know how we move. We ain't on that other shit. Ain't no crab in the barrel. Get your paper. Be autonomous. You heard? 9. This El Negro shit though, and them sons of Africa, you see I put the sons of Haitian and sons of Haiti in there, right? I'll make sure I ain't being biased.
Facts.
You feel me? I ain't
Facts.
being biased. I ain't being biased. No. Everybody can get this work. It is what it is. The truth has got to be told. And with that being said, Next week's Memorial Day weekend, right?
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. Like literally, we kind of like 3 weeks ahead, even though you're seeing this live right now. We 3 weeks ahead. There's a lot of shit coming that we don't even get to expose because we don't want niggas biting us on what we doing. Because niggas try to tell us one time we was copying them. Remember not? Niggas was saying, oh, y'all niggas trying to, we ain't copying none of y'all niggas. We on our own shit. I keep it real. You feel me, God? I keep it real. We be really in our own, doing our own thing. We really ain't sweating nobody. You feel me? We just do what we do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what other people thinking, but really just been, if we network with you, because we genuinely rocking with you on some real shit. Because really, we don't really care about all the other shit. We doing what we got to do. Technically speaking,
Tell
this
them
is
the
what it is.
Source Awards.
Source up, yeah. Source awards, you heard? Real talk. We should get a source award. You feel me? Because we bring in sources every
Get the
time we
Source
talk to
Award.
you about anything. You feel me? I'm telling you, I got some money on it. Them heat, hey, them heat. You feel me? Look at it. Oh, I'm keeping my money tonight.
Yo, you know I don't
I
even want.
told him not to
I
play
don't
with
even
me.
want you
I was
talking on my
ready.
crew like that,
I
bro.
was ready. Look, God, you see the money. I was ready. I don't play games. I don't play games. Nigga, give me my money. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. We see y'all next week. Go ahead. I gotta go home and watch the highlights and shit. You feel me? So I can go call this man and talk shit. You feel me?
I gotta go
Real
smoke a
talk.
blunt.
Hey, same here. I ain't gonna lie. You better than me. I'm
Do
smoking
some cheap.
CBD. They would call it. They would call it flower. Some people call it rabbit grass. In Muskogee, we say rabbit grass.
You know
You
I'm
feel me?
up top. You know I'm up top. We can just keep it regular.
I got you. I smoke rabbit grass. I don't know if they call that legal or not. I don't know. I just smoke rabbit grass in this mama business, and it keeps me going. You feel me? I ain't a turtle, but I think like a turtle, but I move like a rabbit. That's crazy, ain't it? Talking shit, man. Appreciate everybody that tapped in with us tonight, man. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. Shout out to my man Nine Ether with this series. He's the leading man in this series, y'all. I'm just on, I'm the wingman in this joint. He leading with this El Negro joint because the dissertation that he laid out, and that's why it got to be laid out the way we're doing it in pieces because there's so much information. He's still evolving with it too. Am I right? Nah,
Facts.
you're still. We're moving like y'all moving. We're in real time with this shit.
If you stop learning, you ain't gonna be no student. You ain't gonna be no scholar.
We try to be adapt to this motherfucker. You're adapter. You feel me? Marana to all my people out there. Shout out to my all folks. Shout out to my Zoes one more time out there. All my Negroes, all my indigenous people, all my maroon folk out there. You feel me? Free people of color is Labrie. And a
A
lot of them we throw
Frenchie,
our L's up. You heard me?
El
The L stand for
Negro.
Labrie now though. Feel me, God? You feel me, God? We used to throw the L up for our city, but now we say we throw the L up. They mean Labrie. You know what I'm saying? Feel me, God? Peace, y'all. Put it together. Don't divide it. Put it together. Peace, y'all. Nine. Appreciate you, homie.
Mahala.
Next week, tap in with us. 8 to 11.